Chapter 3462. The first and second updates were still tomorrow morning. Linny, what should I do? My dad told me that this weekend, he will arrange for me to go on a blind date with the betrothed. I don't even know him. What should I do? Guan Xian's voice was a little anxious. Xin, don't worry. Wait for me to go back. I will help you deal with it. Although Linny hadn't thought of a good solution for the time being, he had to agree to it first so that Guan Xian wouldn't worry. If it doesn't work, just do what I said. Although it will tarnish my reputation a little, it is the only way. This trick was actually seen by Lin Yi in a novel called Very Pure, Very Ambiguous Prequel. At this time he made a last-minute effort and used it on the spot. And if it doesn't work, this is the only way. But Dad and Grandpa, they will be furious. Guan Xian sighed. She was an obedient child. Although Guan Xiaoxiang had been obstructing her relationship with Lin Yi, he was still very good to her overall. Lin Yi was also a little helpless. He couldn't treat the Guan family and Guan Xiaoxiang the same way he treated Kun Siyuan and others, right? That was unrealistic, so Lin Yi could only come up with a strange trick. In comparison, only this trick can make the other party give up. Otherwise, even if you don't agree, the other party will always urge you. It will be difficult for you to get rid of them. That's true. Guan Xian nodded in agreement. Lin Yi, I've made up my mind. I'll do as you say. At that time you have to come too. I will say that I am pregnant with your child. That person and my father will give up. Okay, since this idea is mine, I will definitely accompany them to the end, Lin Yi said. And then I will plan how to say it at that time, Guan Xian said. On this side, just after hanging up the phone with Guan Xin, Lin Yi's phone rang again. This time the call was from Island X. Hello. Lin Yi politely picked up the phone. His tone was respectful. After all, many people on Island X were his elders and instructors during his childhood. Lin Yi must be respectful. Little Yi, I'm your master's wife, Shen Yushi. On the other side of the phone, a pleasant voice came. Shen Yushi was a wife of Lin Yi's master, Yang Ming. Lin Yi naturally knew her, but Shen Yushi was not good at kung fu and some assassin specialties, so she did not have much contact with Lin Yi before. Hello, Mistress Shen. Why are you looking for me? Lin Yi felt a little strange. He thought it was Master Zhou calling to ask about little Jiao. It's like this. When your master was young, he arranged a marriage for you. Now that you are old enough and the girl in the other party's family has grown up, I am going to matchmake you too. Shen Yushi said, after all, this is what your master specifically told me before he left. Lin Yi just wanted to refuse, but after listening to Mistress Shen's last sentence, he was speechless. Master specifically told me? Master's order, Lin Yi naturally couldn't violate it, so Lin Yi had to use the delaying tactic. Mistress Shen, I also know that you are doing this for my own good, but now, I don't have the mood to talk about love. Little Jiao has become an inheritor. I have to improve my strength as soon as possible so that I can escort them to Heavenly Island. Lin Yi really didn't expect that he had just helped Guan Xian to come up with a plan, and this matter was his turn. Lin Yi really didn't know what to say. There was still a way to refuse Guan Xian's side, but on his side, Lin Yi really had to comply with the marriage arranged by his master. There is no conflict. Shen Yushi smiled and said, these two things can be done at the same time. Moreover, because of the inheritor, the other party wants to settle the marriage as soon as possible because the other party is also an inheritor. What? Lin Yi was suddenly stunned. The other party is also an inheritor? Now, the inheritors that Lin Yi was not familiar with were only the people from Snow Valley. Could it be the people from Snow Valley? Wait, something is wrong. Guan Xian is an inheritor, and Guan Xian has an engagement. Now I have another engagement with an inheritor. Doesn't that mean? Thinking of this possibility, Lin Yi was really a little dumbfounded. It can't be such a coincidence, right? Yeah, so you protecting little Jiao is equivalent to protecting her, and also protecting her at the same time. I think your master arranged it like this in the beginning. I'm afraid there is such a profound meaning in it, Shen Yushi said with a smile. In the past, when Lin Yi heard this, he would definitely think it was just a coincidence. But now, there were too many coincidences in the people and things around him. Lin Yi didn't believe that this was a coincidence at all. Perhaps all this was predicted in advance? Master's wife Shen, then I want to ask, who is this inheritor? Although Lin Yi knew the answer, he was not quite sure. This inheritor is called Guan Xian. Her father was a good friend of your master. Her grandfather and your grandfather Lin Dongfang also have some connections, Shen Yushi explained. Hearing this, Lin Yi really didn't doubt it. Guan Xian, it really is Guan Xian. Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, but he also felt a little funny. If Guan Xan knew that the blind date was him, what kind of expression would she have? Suddenly Lin Yi had a wicked idea. If I don't tell Guan Xan in advance and give her a surprise on that day, wouldn't it be fun? Thinking of this, Lin Yi said, Master's wife Shin, does the other party know what my name is? That I don't know. You have a lot of names. I'm not sure what name you are using now. Shin Yushi said, why? Do you have any ideas? It's like this. I know Guan Xan, so I want to give her a surprise. I ask Master's wife not to tell her first. I will appear on the day of the meeting. Lin Yi was too bored during this period, so this kind of thing also aroused the interest of Lin Yi's age. Hee, of course. Shin Yushi smiled and said, okay, I will leave for Songshan City in a few days. I didn't tell you about this when little Jiao was here. I was afraid that you would be distracted, so I waited for you to send her away before telling you. Okay, thank you, Master's wife. Lin Yi quickly thanked her. He was also relieved in his heart. He didn't expect Master's wife Shen to be so easy to talk to. She directly agreed to his request. At this time the plane was about to take off. Lin Yi ended the call and prepared to return to Donghai City. Chapter 3463. I'm a little late, sorry. Shin Yushi and Guan Xiaoxiang had been friends for many years. She used to stay at Guan Xuemin's house for a period of time to treat her illness. At that time she met Guan Xiaoxiang and his girlfriend, Xiaolan. But after they settled down on Island X they rarely met. But during the holidays the phone calls were still frequent. Sister-in-law Yushi, how's it going? Is the successor on the boss's side going to be engaged to our Xinxin? Guan Xiaoxiang was also annoyed for a while. Guan Xan was already engaged, but she was still entangled with Lin Yi. He wasn't saying that Lin Yi wasn't good, but he was a man of his word. His benefactor helped him so much that he naturally couldn't violate the original agreement. In his opinion, a promise was more important than anything else. Although his benefactor had left to do something important, he couldn't casually break the promise just because he left. Guan Xiaoxiang wasn't that kind of person. Yes, I've already arranged it. I'm just waiting for you, Shin Yushi said. I've already booked a plane ticket. I'll arrive in Songshan the day after tomorrow. By then my disciple will also be there. You're familiar with the place. Book a restaurant, I'll let him go. Okay, no problem. Guan Xiaoxiang breathed a sigh of relief. He thought, now that the matter is settled, I don't have to care about Guan Xian's emotions. Anyway, it's a done deal. Guan Xian can't object even if she wants to. He knew that although Guan Xian sometimes threw a tantrum, she would still give him some face when it came to important matters. So, Guan Xiaoxiang hung up the phone and began to make arrangements. Guan Xian received a call from her father. She was a little helpless, but she knew that this moment would come sooner or later, so she could only agree. Anyway, she had already thought of a countermeasure. She specially ordered a set of non-mainstream clothes and cosmetics online. On the morning of the blind date, Guan Xiaoxiang booked the most high-end hotel in Songshan, Starlight Hotel. Guan Xan wasn't stupid enough to wear a non-mainstream outfit when she left home. She was still wearing a casual outfit today, and although there weren't too many accessories on it, it was still clean and tidy. Guan Xiaoxiang was very satisfied with it. This was the style he liked, and that person's disciple must be a master with high standards. The more you dress up, the more natural it is. So Guan Xiaoxiang happily brought Guan Xan to Starlight Resplendence. After entering the private room, Shin Yushi and her disciple had not arrived yet. Guan Xiaoxiang arrived a little earlier. As the host, he naturally could not wait for the guest to arrive before he arrived. That would be impolite. Dad, I'm going to the bathroom to touch up my makeup and see if there's anything wrong. Guan Xian stood up. There was a private bathroom in the room, so it was convenient for Guan Xian to change. Alright, go ahead. Guan Xiaoxiang was very happy. He thought that Guan Xian had come to her senses after agreeing to the marriage, and was prepared to give her a good impression. Otherwise, why would she still care so much? After Guan Xian went to the washroom, she started changing her clothes. It wasn't exactly revealing, but it was still a weird outfit. Guan Xian, on the other hand, started applying makeup and dyeing her hair. She'd bought a hairspray online that could dye her hair faster. Although Guan Xian usually didn't dress up, she had practiced at home for a long time. After dressing up like this, she had become a delinquent girl. After everything was done, Guan Xian called Lin Yi. Lin Yi, where are you? Guan Xian asked anxiously. My dad has taken me to Starlight Resplendence Hotel for a blind date. We're at the 3rd floor Shiyuan Hall. When are you coming? Guan Xiaoxiang chose the Shiyuan Hall as the location for the blind date for a reason. It was to let them cherish this fate. I'm already on my way. I'll be there soon. Linny said, I'll give you a surprise later. I'll give you a surprise too. Guan Xian's dressing today was a bit too exaggerated. Even she almost couldn't recognize herself. The surprise that Linny mentioned was that she would find out that her blind date partner was Lin Yi. And Guan Xian's surprise was that she felt that her dressing up was too successful. Lin Yi and Xin Yushi didn't come together. They went their separate ways. Xin Yushi had arrived in Songshan City last night and stayed at Starlight Resplendence Hotel. She only needed to come downstairs. Therefore, not long after Guan Xiaoxiang arrived, Xin Yushi came to the private room. Sister-in-law Yushi, hello. I haven't seen you for many years. You're still so beautiful. No wonder Brother Yang was infatuated with you in the past. Guan Xiaoxiang quickly stood up and greeted Xin Yushi familiarly. Xin Yushi's face was slightly red. She knew that Guan Xiaoxiang was just being polite. She was indeed beautiful, but she wasn't infatuated with him. She was the one who chased him in the past. Thinking about the past, Xin Yushi was a little embarrassed. She glared at Guan Xiaoxiang and said, There's a junior here. Don't talk nonsense. I won't talk anymore. When Guan Xiaoxiang heard Xin Yushi say junior, he remembered that Guan Xian was still in the bathroom. She had been in there for so long. Why hadn't she come out yet? He was a little anxious and shouted in the direction of the bathroom, Xin Xin, how is it on your side? Your auntie Xin is here. Why aren't you coming out? Dad, I'm going out now. I'm smoking in the bathroom. Guan Xian said in the bathroom, I'm addicted to smoking. I'm afraid that I'll smoke Auntie Shen if I go out. As Guan Xian spoke, she took out a prop cigarette that she bought online from her bag. This cigarette was made like a real one. You could puff out a cloud of smoke with one puff, but it didn't contain any cigarette content. After all, it was used for filming TV. What? Guan Xiaoxiang's face suddenly changed. He was stunned. Smoking? How did Guan Xian smoke? When did she smoke? Since she was young, Guan Xian had been a good girl. She didn't smoke or drink. Could it be that she learned to smoke during this period of time when she studied medicine? That can't be right. That person is also a highly respected professor at a university in Donghai. How could he teach Guan Xian to smoke? Xin Yushi was also stunned. Her understanding of Guan Xian was completely from Guan Xiaoxiang's side of the information. However, when she came today, she heard that Guan Xian was smoking. It really shocked Xin Yushi. Chapter 3464. Guan Xian. Come out. Guan Xiaoxiang was enraged like an enraged lion. He felt extremely humiliated. Guan Xian wasn't afraid at all as she listened to her father's roar. If her father didn't get angry, then he wouldn't have achieved his goal. She proudly glanced at her current appearance in the mirror. Her originally neatly combed hair had now turned into a messy hairstyle. She had even sprayed purple paint on it. Her heavy smoky makeup and large earrings made her look exactly the same as those delinquent girls on the streets. Even if you don't let me cook at home, I, Guan Xian, can still scare my blind date away. Oh, my stomach isn't feeling too good. What's the rush? I didn't have my period this month, so I'll go see what's wrong. Guan Xian said as she pushed the door open and walked out of the bathroom. What nonsense is this? Guan Xiaoxiang's face darkened. He hadn't seen his daughter for a while, but Guan Xian's words had become so bold. Was it because of the side effects of being a nurse? Xiaoxiang was a shareholder of the hospital, so he knew that the nurses and doctors interacted with patients every day. There was nothing to be embarrassed about. He could say anything he wanted, but wasn't Guan Xian studying medicine at someone else's house? Why? But he didn't have time to think about it. When Guan Xiaoxiang saw Guan Xian's current appearance, he was shocked. Xian, what are you wearing? Go wash it off. You look so scary. Are you attending a masquerade party? Wash it off? What? I look like this usually, why do I have to wash it off? Guan Xian's lips curved into a smile, but she hid it well. Dad, didn't you say? That blind date is to show my true self? I can't change myself just for the blind date, right? You? Guan Xiaoxiang finally understood what Guan Xian was playing at. The so-called smoking, the bold and unrestrained words, and the current hipster attire, were probably all to resist this blind date. Otherwise, if Guan Xian really did look like this, then why didn't she dress like this at home? Why did she have to dress like this in the bathroom? Guan Xiaoxiang realized that he had fallen into Guan Xian's trap. No wonder Guan Xian was so cooperative when she came to the blind date. She had everything planned out. The killer move was yet to come. This must be Auntie Shen, right? Guan Xian took a puff of the cigarette and sprayed the smoke in front of Xin Yushi. I'm sorry, Auntie. Do you want one? I don't want it anymore. Shen Yushi looked at Guan Xan with a strange expression, but she didn't say anything in the end. Guan Xan, stop messing around and quickly apologize to Auntie Shen. Guan Xiaoxiang was so angry that he roared at Guan Xan. Then he turned his head and looked at Shen Yushi awkwardly. Sister-in-law Yushi, I'm really sorry. Xin, she's not usually like this. Oh, it's nothing. My disciple also has this character. They are quite similar. Maybe they can be a couple. Shen Yushi suddenly said, since they are all dressed up, let's go. Xin is right, it's the truth. Alright. Guan Xiaoxiang felt a headache coming on. This was truly a failure at a crucial moment. But since Shen Yushi said so, he could only respond, well, I hope this marriage can be facilitated. At this time, there was a knock on the door of the private room. Please come in. Guan Xiaoxiang and Shen Yushi said at the same time. Linny pushed the door and walked in. He came from Donghai City, so he was a little slower. Linny, what are you doing here? Guan Xiaoxiang's face instantly became even uglier. It seemed that Guan Xan not only dressed up as a non-mainstream girl today, but she also dragged Linny along. Guan Xiaoxiang didn't have to think to know that he was here to act as a boyfriend. He had to stop Linny. He had to drive him away before Shen Yushi's disciple came. After listening to this, Shen Yushi's expression was a little strange. What? Guan Xiaoxiang knows Lin Yi, and their relationship doesn't seem to be very pleasant? However, Lin Yi knows Guan Xian. If Lin Yi saw Guan Xian's outfit, how would he react? Of course, I'm here to look for someone. Lin Yi smiled slightly and then walked quickly in the direction of Guan Xan. When Guan Xan saw Lin Yi coming, she suddenly looked happy. She quickly stood up and threw herself into Lin Yi's arms. My dear, you're here. I missed you so much. Guan Xian's words were both true and false. She didn't know that she would say such a bold thing. However, half of it was acting and the other half was her own heart. After listening to Guan Xian's words, Shen Yushi's expression was even more strange. Guan Xiaoxiang was furious. He couldn't care less about Shen Yushi. He slammed the table and glared at Lin Yi. He shouted angrily, Lin Yi, you are not welcome here. You should leave now. However, Guan Xan acted as if she didn't hear it. She snuggled sweetly in Lin Yi's arms. She looked at Shen Yushi and said, Auntie Shen, let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend Lin Yi. Oh, hello, little Yi. Shen Yushi nodded and said. Guan Xian was a little puzzled why Shen Yushi wasn't angry, but it might be because she had information about this blind date. She knew that her disciple could get engaged? Xiaoxiang couldn't take it anymore. Xian, stop messing around. Lin Yi, I know Xian hired you to put on a show, so stop messing around. What do you say for my father's sake? Lin Yi asked. However, before Lin Yi could speak, Guan Xan was unwilling first. Dad, I have freedom to love. You can't interfere with me. Besides, the little brat kicked me again. As she spoke, Guan Xian's hand touched her lower abdomen. Her face was excited and intoxicated. What did you say? Guan Xiaoxiang was shocked by Guan Xian's words. After a moment, his body couldn't stop trembling. He pointed at Guan Xan and was so angry that he couldn't speak. You guys. Good, very good. Guan Xan, you and him have already reached such a stage. You want to anger me to death. Really? Let me hear it. Then let's give the child a name. I say, how about Lin Xiaoxin or Lin Xiaoguan? Lin Yi said with a smile, ignoring Guan Xiaoxiang. Chapter 3465. With today's opportunity, Lin Yi also wanted to make Guan Xiaoxiang suffer a setback. Guan Xuemin would be very happy if he knew about it. He really couldn't do anything about his son. He didn't listen to others, but he listened to his benefactor's words. What made Lin Yi feel funny was that Guan Xiaoxiang's benefactor was actually his own master, Yang Ming. Okay, husband. If it's a boy, I'll call him Lin Xiaoguan. If it's a girl, I'll call her Lin Xiaoxen. Guan Xian pulled Lin Yi's hand. Her whole body was half lying in Lin Yi's arms. For Guan Xian, this was an extremely bold move. In the past, she would never have thought that she would do this in front of so many people. But since it was an act, Guan Xian could let it go. In fact, in her heart, there was some excitement brought by doing this. She felt a little strange excitement. It turned out that sometimes, a good girl rebelling once was also very refreshing. It's really unfortunate for our family. Sister-in-law Yushi, I've let you see a joke. Guan Xiaoxiang really didn't know what to say. He really had nothing to say. No, I think it's quite good. They both like each other. It's really not bad. Shen Yushi covered her mouth and chuckled. However, this smile in Guan Xiaoxiang's eyes became mockery, making him a little embarrassed. He took a deep breath and said, Lin Yi, I'm begging you now, can't you get out of here right now? Xinxin's blind date is coming soon. Give me this face. Today's blind date will go smoothly. I don't care about the result, okay? When the time comes, I won't care about what you and Xinxin want. Is that okay? Guan Xiaoxiang really had no other choice, so he chose to compromise. In any case, today's face had to be preserved. He couldn't let his benefactor's disciple see his daughter like this. It was really too disrespectful. Now that he let Lin Yi go after today, he didn't intend to care anymore. A grown girl couldn't be kept at home. That was the logic behind it. Then, Lin Yi turned to look at Guan Xian. What? Why don't we listen to my dad? Guan Xian was a good girl after all. She might have been fighting for her love, but she felt that it was too much. Her goal was achieved now that her father was willing to compromise. He couldn't go overboard. And that's fine. I'll take my leave first. Call me if there's anything. Lin Yi nodded and said to Guan Xiaoxiang, Uncle Guan, since you are so insistent, I will leave first. See you later. All right. Guan Xiaoxiang snorted. He thought to himself, I'll see you later, but I won't be able to see you for a while. Wait until I'm gone before you show up again. Don't let me see you again. Lin Yi smiled and didn't say anything. He got up and walked to the door of the private room. Xinyushi felt a little funny. However, he didn't try to persuade them to stay. Instead, he was happy to watch this farce. When Lin Yi left, Guan Xiaoxiang breathed a sigh of relief and said to Xinyushi, Sister-in-law Yushi, you see, this Xinxin is also disobedient. I'm afraid this marriage. I think Xinxin is quite good. I'm quite satisfied. With Xinyushi's shrewdness, how could she not see the problem between Guan Xian and Lin Yi? Besides, although she didn't smoke, Yang Ming smoked. Wouldn't she know the smell of smoke if she hadn't smoked before? The smoke that Guan Xian exhaled just now didn't have the smell of tobacco at all. It was obviously a tasteless prop. Besides, how was that considered smoking? Even if she inhaled the smoke into her mouth and exhaled it for a while, it wouldn't pass through her lungs. This wasn't smoking at all. It was just that Guan Xiaoxiang was too concerned, so he didn't notice these details. Besides, if Guan Xen was really pregnant with Lin Yi's child, could Lin Yi not tell her? It was all because Guan Xen refused to marry that she caused all this trouble. Satisfied? Guan Xiaoxiang was stunned. But Guan Xian is already pregnant. This blind date. That's just right. It's a forced marriage. Xinyushi smiled and said, it's also quite good. Guan Xiaoxiang completely didn't understand Xinyushi's intention. Is she confused from anger or what? Forced marriage? This is clearly the rhythm of becoming a father. Can her disciple accept it? However, since Xinyushi said so, he had to say, then. Sister-in-law Yushi, you ask when the benefactor's disciple will arrive. Let's meet first and talk about it. Guan Xian's face was a little pale. She thought that after she had done so many things, Xinyushi would have given up on her. She didn't expect that she still wanted a forced marriage? Could it be that their family has a special hobby? Or, where did I expose myself? Okay, I will make a call. Xinyushi smiled and took out her phone. Then she dialed Lin Yi's phone number. Where are you? Your uncle Guan is looking for you. You are in the hotel. Come in quickly. Lin Yi didn't leave at all. He just went out for a walk and came back. He knocked on the door and Xinyushi's voice came from inside, please come in. So Lin Yi pushed the door and walked in. Lin Yi. Guan Xiaoxiang was about to get up and welcome him. As a result, he saw Lin Yi, who pushed the door and came in. He was a little anxious. Why is it you again? Why are you here again? Master's wife Shen, Uncle Guan, hello. Lin Yi smiled and said to Xinyushi and Guan Xiaoxiang. Then he turned to look at Guan Xian. This is my blind date, Guan Xian. She is really beautiful. I like her very much. Guan Xiaoxiang was stunned, but then he understood what was going on. Lin Yi, stop fooling around. I have said that when the blind date is over, you can do whatever you want. But you came back. Is it interesting to pretend to be sister-in-law Yushi's disciple? Do you think this is funny? Little E, Master's wife, is also quite satisfied with Xinxin. I have also seen her. Although her dressing is a bit different and she likes to smoke a fake cigarette for fun, but overall she is still good. There are no shortcomings. Young people love to play. When I was young, I did a lot of ridiculous things. Xinyushi spoke at this time. This time, it was Guan Xiaoxiang's turn to be dumbfounded. Guan Xen also looked at Xinyushi with a dumbfounded look. What does this mean? Does she mean that Lin Yi is her disciple? Is he also the blind date this time? This 180-degree turn was something that the two of them could not accept. After a while, Guan Xiaoxiang said, "Sister-in-law Yushi, you mean? Lin Yi is..." "Yeah, Lin Yi is Yang Ming's disciple." Shen Yushi nodded. Chapter 3466. He kept saying that Lin Yi was a liar and wanted to deceive Guan Xuemin. How could he be a liar? Oh my god, what have I done? Guan Xiaoxiang felt that he was even more embarrassed at this moment than when he found out that Guan Xan was a delinquent girl. What? You are the person I went on a blind date with? Guan Xan also widened her eyes at this moment, looking at Lin Yi. Most likely. Lin Yi said with a bitter smile. Why didn't you say it earlier? I was worried all the time. Guan Xan breathed a sigh of relief, but she felt it was a little unbelievable. How could you be the disciple of my father's benefactor? Why didn't you say it before? I just found out. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. To be honest, if Master's wife didn't tell me about this, I didn't even know that I had an engagement. I didn't even know that the engagement was with you. Really? Guan Xan was surprised and happy after hearing it. She was a little shy and said with a red face, if I knew it earlier, I wouldn't have done it like this. I didn't want to leave a bad impression on Auntie Shen. It's all your fault, your bad idea. How can you blame me for this? Lin Yi was a little dumbfounded. I didn't know at the beginning. It's okay. I think it's quite good. I used to have a friend who was similar to you. She likes these non-mainstream outfits. I think it's quite amiable. Shen Yushi said with a smile, as long as you two like it. Yes, young people are a little crazy. It's fine as long as they like it. Guan Xiaoxiang's mood was finally a lot better. He didn't expect things to be solved so dramatically. So, the next meal became a happy situation. Guan Xiaoxiang even asked expectantly, XN, what's the matter with you? How many months is the baby in your belly? When can I be a grandfather? This made Guan Xn very embarrassed. Dad, I was just talking nonsense before. I and Lin Yi didn't. No. Guan Xiaoxiang was a little disappointed. I thought there was one. I was happy for nothing. Then you have to hurry, and so it was settled. In the following days, Guan Xan returned to Master Bai's house. As for Lin Yi, he had to prepare for the Heaven Ranks trial. However, as soon as Lin Yi arrived in East Ocean City, he received a call from Kang Ming. Guru Lin Yi, where are you? I have good news for you. Kang Ming said excitedly to Lin Yi after the phone was connected. Kang Ming? Of course, I'm in East Ocean City. Do you have any good news? Lin Yi was intrigued. Could it be that Kang Ming had finished refining the Qi-gathering elixir? That was really fast. Could it be that he was scared by him? Kang Ming's gathering Qi pill had been delayed again and again. He had promised him during the trial of the Heavenly Elixir sect, but there had been no progress for a long time. Lin Yi was about to give up and felt that Kang Ming could not refine it for him. Could it be that Kang Ming was scared out of his wits and decided to refine the elixir for him? Lin Yi really couldn't figure it out. It's like this, I've been refining the Qi-gathering pill for a long time, and I've finally succeeded. Kang Xiaoming said. Lin Yi, when do you think I'll send it to you? Kang Xiaoming wasn't wrong at all. He really spent a lot of effort to successfully refine this extreme Qi-gathering elixir. The extreme Qi-gathering elixir was not like the Qi-gathering elixir. It was easier to refine the Qi-gathering elixir, but not many people had successfully refined the extreme Qi-gathering elixir. Kang Xiaoming was also constantly experimenting and refining. Fortunately, with the guidance of the Shenshen ancestor and the Xuanzhen ancestor, he was finally able to successfully refine an extreme Qi-gathering pill day and night. Really? It's done? Then help me send it over. Lin Yi didn't expect Kang Ming to be so straightforward. He thought he would have to go and get it himself. Okay, I'll come to you in 2 days. The villa in East Ocean City, I'll go there. Kang Ming said. Come. Since you helped me refine the elixir, I'll forget about what happened last time. Lin Yi said, but you have to be quick. I'm already at the peak of the mid-stage of Heaven stage. It's useless if you don't come. Okay, I'll leave overnight. Wait for me. Kang Ming said quickly. If it was someone else, they might not be able to level up, but Lin Yi was different. This guy leveled up whenever he wanted, and there was no pattern to it. Sometimes it was fast, sometimes it was slow. Therefore, Kang Ming was really afraid that Lin Yi would level up. At that time, Lin Yi wouldn't eat the extreme Qi-gathering elixir anymore. If he gave the elixir to his underling, wouldn't Lin Yi come to him for revenge? Therefore, this elixir must be eaten by Lin Yi. Only by eating Lin Yi to death would they be able to put an end to this. Thinking of this, Kang Ming didn't dare to delay. he decided to leave as soon as possible. After hanging up, Lin Yi was getting more and more suspicious. It didn't seem right at all. This wasn't Kang Xiaoming's personality. He was a sinister person. When had he ever been so considerate of others? Even if he made elixir for him, it would be for him to get it and then find a way to trick him. But this time it was really straightforward. But no matter how much Lin Yi thought about it, he couldn't figure out what was going on. If Kang Xiaoming really did deliver the pill tomorrow, then Lin Yi didn't think that Kang Xiaoming would be able to do anything. It was a quiet night, and Lin Yi and Xinyan fell asleep in each other's arms. This kind of warmth made Lin Yi feel at ease, and Xinyan's condition was stabilizing as well. It seemed that the energy stones were quite effective. It'd be even better if Xinyan could train. The next morning, Lin Yi had just woken up and made breakfast when he heard the doorbell ringing outside the villa. Lin Yi walked out to see that it was Kang Mingming. He didn't expect Kang Mingming to come this fast. He left last night and arrived this morning. The speed was pretty good. It looked like he hadn't slept the whole night. Hayashi Lin, good morning. Kang Mingming greeted Lin Yi warmly. I've brought you the elixir. Do you think you won't hold me responsible anymore? Let's forget about the misunderstanding last time? Where's the elixir? Let me have a look. Lin Yi said, holding his hand out. Here it is. Kang Mingming took out a small wooden box from his pocket and handed it to Lin Yi. The quality isn't too good. You know my skill. It's good enough that I can make this. It might be a little different from those top-grade elixirs. Chapter 3467. Lin Yi took out the elixir and looked at it carefully under the sunlight. Although Lin Yi wasn't a real alchemist, he had done some research on alchemy. Especially after taking many qi-gathering pills, he had an understanding of the smell and color of qi-gathering pills. Kang Mingming's qi-gathering pill was indeed a little different from the previous ones, but from the smell, Lin Yi identified it carefully. It was indeed the smell of a qi-gathering pill. Of course, he couldn't rule out the possibility that Kang Mingming had poisoned the qi-gathering pill, but they were all heaven stage masters. If he poisoned someone, it would be at the level of yellow or mystic stage. Heaven stage masters could force the poison out of their bodies. This was common sense. As a heaven stage master, it was impossible for Kang Ming not to know. Therefore he probably wouldn't do such a strenuous and unrewarding thing. If Lin Yi forced the poison out, he wouldn't remember his kindness. Poisoning Lin Yi would at most cause some trouble, but it wouldn't affect anything. The quality is good. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to take the pill. You can go back now. Lin Yi wasn't polite to Kang Mingming. After all, this qi-gathering pill was something he deserved. Kang Mingming took so long to give it to him. Alright, then I'm leaving. Kang Mingming couldn't wait to leave. If Lin Yi ate it in front of him and died, then it would be hard to say. If he left, Lin Yi's death would have nothing to do with him. Who knew how he died? Bye-bye. Lin Yi waved his hand, but he was a little puzzled. This Kang Mingming really changed this time. He specially came to give me the pill? What a miraculous sight. With Lin Yi's understanding of Kang Mingming, there must be something fishy about this. But he couldn't put his finger on what exactly was strange about it. So Lin Yi took another careful look at the qi-gathering pill in his hand. Could it be a fake pill? But it didn't look like it. Lin Yi shook his head and returned to the villa, ready to take the elixir. Anyway, even if it was a fake pill, it wouldn't go bad even if it wasn't eaten well. Lin Yi wasn't afraid of anything. After confirming that Kang Mingming had left, Lin Yi began his journey of leveling up and breaking through, according to Lin Yi's previous experience. After preparing the qi-gathering pill, Lin Yi placed it beside him and then sat cross-legged to calm his mind. Then Lin Yi picked up the qi-gathering pill, put it in his mouth and swallowed it. All of a sudden, a warm current flowed from Lin Yi's abdomen to the rest of his body, followed by a scorching sensation, as if all the meridians in his body were on fire. That's right, this was the reaction after taking the qi-gathering pill. Lin Yi calmed down slightly. It seemed that Kang Mingming hadn't lied to him. This was indeed a qi-gathering pill. This was because Lin Yi had taken the qi-gathering pill many times. He was very familiar with this feeling, so Lin Yi didn't deliberately resist it. Instead, he let nature take its course, gritted his teeth, and endured. This burning sensation was getting stronger and stronger. Lin Yi felt like he was on fire. But the more painful it was, the more similar it was to when he broke through. Lin Yi felt more at ease. If he didn't feel anything, it meant that Kang Mingming's elixir had no effect. Gradually, the heaven and earth spiritual qi in the air gathered towards Lin Yi. It circled above his head, forming a small, invisible whirlpool. The gathering of the heaven and earth spiritual qi also meant that Lin Yi wasn't far from breaking through. This was because the heaven and earth spiritual qi resonated with the true qi in Lin Yi's body. At this moment, it was circulating rapidly around Lin Yi's body, faster and faster, and Lin Yi only felt that his body temperature was getting higher and higher. Suddenly Lin Yi smelled something burning. Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. He forgot to take off his clothes again. How many clothes had been burned? Why didn't he remember? Soon, the clothes on his body turned into pieces of charred pieces and fell to the ground. Boom! What followed was a loud sound. The true chi energy in Lin Yi's meridians exploded at this moment. This kind of feeling was as if a true energy bomb had exploded within his body, and then he felt the boundless majestic medicinal power instantly being released, spreading to every part of his body, and unceasingly transforming into extremely pure true energy, fusing into his tendons and meridians. Breakthrough. At this moment, Lin Yi had become a late-stage heaven stage expert. From the middle stage to the late stage, it was like a qualitative leap. This kind of feeling made Lin Yi feel very good. Above heaven stage, the higher one went, the harder it was to break through. However, Lin Yi relied on the chi-gathering pill to advance all the way, which was a unique advantage. Lin Yi wanted to stretch his muscles and bones, but at this time he was shocked to find that at this time, the true chi in his body was still rising. Although the intensity was not as fierce as the moment when he broke through, the speed of the rise was still the same as when he first took the pill. This was clearly like taking another foundation establishment pill. What was going on? Lin Yi was a little stunned. Why did this chi-gathering pill not seem to be over after breaking through one level? It still wanted to continue breaking through? But how was this possible? The chi-gathering pill refined by Zhang Liju did not have such a magical effect, but Kang Mingming's pill actually had it? However, he had no choice but to believe it. The true chi in Lin Yi's body was indeed still rising, as if it was going to break through to the next level. This feeling surprised and delighted Lin Yi. He hurriedly sat cross-legged and continued to use the art of dragon mastery to regulate the true chi in his body. However, what happened next was a little strange. Lin Yi felt that the true chi in his body was indeed still rising, but this true chi did not come from the residual effects of the chi-gathering pill in his body, but from outside his body. Previously, the heaven and earth spiritual chi above Lin Yi's head was now being absorbed into Lin Yi's meridians, and converted into his true chi. And the heaven and earth spiritual chi above Lin Yi's head was now being absorbed into Lin Yi's meridians, and transformed into his true chi. However, the heaven and earth spiritual chi above his head was very limited. Previously, Rock Candy also said that the heaven and earth spiritual chi in the natural world was really pitiful, especially in the city. The heaven and earth spiritual chi above Lin Yi's head was automatically gathered when he was breaking through, so it was absorbed and gone. And after the heaven and earth spiritual chi was gone, Lin Yi suddenly felt an indescribable discomfort. This feeling was like a person lacking oxygen, and the surrounding oxygen was not enough to sustain his breathing. If he wanted to live, he had to desperately breathe. Chapter 3468. It's so hard. Lin Yi's face turned red. He didn't understand why such a situation had occurred. He had taken the chi-gathering pill before and there had been no problems. Why did there be such a big side effect this time? This was a suffocating feeling. Although it wasn't suffocation from breathing, it was suffocation from true chi. Lin Yi couldn't absorb the chi of heaven and earth, and the meridians all over his body were twitching in protest. Kang Mingming. Lin Yi suddenly thought of Kang Mingming. This chi-gathering pill was given to him by Kang Mingming. Could it be that Kang Mingming had done something to it, causing the situation to be different from before? After thinking about it, there was only one possibility. No wonder Kang Mingming could send the elixir so smoothly. It turned out that there was a conspiracy. However, at this moment, Lin Yi couldn't care less about hating Kang Mingming. He had to think of a solution. Now, the surrounding chi of heaven and earth was not enough for Lin Yi to absorb, so Lin Yi had to find a solution. Suddenly Lin Yi slapped his head. He really didn't know he was sitting on a mountain of treasures. The chi of heaven and earth in the secular world was almost gone, but the space in the jade pendant had everything. Lin Yi could go in at any time to absorb the endless chi of heaven and earth. Thinking of this, Lin Yi quickly entered the space in the jade pendant. At this moment, Lin Yi was like a dragon flying into the sea. His whole body was extremely comfortable. The pure chi in the space in the jade pendant flowed into Lin Yi's meridians and elixir field through his meridians. And the true chi in Lin Yi's body. At this moment it also soared. It was as if he had taken another chi-gathering pill. However, even so, Lin Yi's heart was still a little perturbed. After all, Lin Yi didn't know if there were any side effects of this pill. If there were, there might be some problems if this continued. But even so, Lin Yi had no other choice. He could only take it one step at a time and satisfy his current demand for heaven and earth spiritual chi first. In just a few breaths, the true qi in Lin Yi's body had more than doubled, and it was still rising. Suddenly, the rising speed of the true qi stopped, and Lin Yi once again touched the barrier of the peak late stage of heaven rank. It can't be, right? This qi gathering pill could actually raise 2 levels in a row? Lin Yi was a little shocked. Apart from being a little scary, this thing was a rare treasure. Such a good thing. Did Patriarch Xianxin know that Kang Mingming had given it to him? He didn't know where it came from, but a huge force suddenly appeared in Lin Yi's body, charging at every tendon and meridian in an incomparably domineering manner. Wherever the force passed, tendons and meridians, no matter big or small, would obviously expand. And at the same time, the barrier that he had touched before also began to slowly melt. This process was so smooth that even Lin Yi himself found it hard to believe. But at this moment, the majestic true qi that continued to rise rapidly in his body clearly showed that that layer of barrier had indeed been broken by the huge force of the Foundation Establishment barrier-breaking pill. There was no pain like when he broke through to the late stage of heaven rank. When Lin Yi broke through to the peak late stage of heaven rank, it was a completely natural and smooth feeling. Could it be because of the continuous breakthroughs? That the second breakthrough was not as painful as before? As for the specific reason, Lin Yi didn't quite understand. But after breaking through the barrier, Lin Yi could clearly feel that the true qi in his body, whether it was in terms of purity or strength, had clearly skyrocketed compared to before. And at this time, the true qi in his body was still rising. Although the intensity was not as fierce as at the beginning, it was still rising very obviously. This was clearly the residual effect of this qi gathering pill. This process continued for the time it took for an incense stick to burn before it gradually calmed down. And at this time, the true qi in Lin Yi's body was a third more than when he had just broken through the barrier. He was only one step away from the peak of heaven rank late stage great circle. Lin Yi's body gradually calmed down, and he no longer absorbed the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. And the burning feeling of the pill in his stomach also disappeared. Perhaps the effect of the pill had been used up? However, Lin Yi didn't dare to go out of the space of the jade pendant immediately. Instead, he sat quietly in the space of the jade pendant, waiting for an emergency. However, Lin Yi sat in the space of the jade pendant for about an hour, and nothing strange happened. Everything was so normal. And Lin Yi's strength had also stabilized. An expert with the strength of the peak late stage of heaven rank was not far from the great perfection. This qi gathering pill was really a good thing. Lin Yi thought, Kang Mingming only gave me one. If I had another, wouldn't I be an expert at the great perfection? Maybe I could even break through to the heavenly way. Of course, Lin Yi was just thinking about it. This was definitely not a qi gathering pill, at least not an ordinary qi gathering pill. At this moment, Lin Yi also understood Kang Mingming's purpose. That qi gathering pill, according to common sense, after Lin Yi took it, the consequences would be quite serious. If Lin Yi didn't have the space of the jade pendant, it was very likely that there would be problems due to the lack of true qi. It might even be life-threatening. After all, the feeling before was as painful as suffocation. Kang Mingming was really sinister. If he didn't have the space of the jade pendant, it would really be difficult for him to escape this time. However, since this kid gave him such a good thing, if he didn't call him to thank him, it would be unreasonable. After Lin Yi left the space of the jade pendant, he picked up the phone and dialed Kang Mingming's number. Kang Mingming said that he left, but in fact he didn't leave at all. He called Patriarch Xianxin and told him about what happened here. Although Lin Yi took away the qi gathering pill, Patriarch Xianxin was not at ease. He was afraid that Lin Yi would give it to others and not take it himself, so he asked Kang Mingming to monitor nearby. If Lin Yi went out or if Lin Yi's underlings came to visit, he would quickly think of a way to stop them. However, Kang Mingming waited for a long time and didn't see anyone. When he was about to fall asleep, the phone suddenly rang. He quickly picked it up and saw that it was Lin Yi's number. This made Kang Mingming a little puzzled. Lin Yi hadn't taken the qi gathering pill for such a long time? It had been a few hours. Kang Mingming thought that Lin Yi had eaten it to death. He didn't expect that he could still call. Chapter 3469. Why did you say that I didn't take it? Lin Yi asked. Oh. Normally, after taking the qi gathering pill it will take a long time, right? Then you have to consolidate your strength and so on. It's quite slow. How can you have the mood to make a phone call? Kang Mingming said. Oh, I thought you meant that I can't make a phone call if I eat it to death. Lin Yi said. Haha, Hayashi Lin, you must be joking. How can you eat the qi gathering pill to death? It's not the poison pill. Kang Mingming laughed and said. That's hard to say. If you do something bad, I will eat it to death. Lin Yi said. Oh, how is that possible? Kang Mingming said, I don't know how to refine the poison pill. Besides, you and I are both heaven stage masters. It's meaningless to use poison. What if it's a special poison? Linny asked. Hayashi-Lin, why are you calling me? I'm resting. I've been traveling day and night to deliver the pill to you and I haven't slept. I finally have a rest and plan to return to the 5 Elements sect when I wake up. Why are you telling me this? Kang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Why is Linny implying something? Did he find something wrong with the Qi gathering pill? It shouldn't be. There shouldn't be any difference on the surface. Please don't find out. Oh, actually, it's nothing. I just ate this pill. I think it's very good. Not only did I upgrade, but I also upgraded 2 levels. Thank you for your pill. Do you have any more of this pill? Give me another one. Linny said. Kang Ming suddenly widened his eyes and almost threw the phone in his hand. It? And upgraded? And upgraded 2 levels in a row? How is this possible? It's not scientific. Kang Xiaoming didn't believe it. Ha! Hayashi-Lin, are you kidding? How can there be such a pill that can raise 2 levels in a row? You definitely haven't eaten it yet, right? I ate it. Why don't you believe me? Linny was also a little speechless. This Kang Ming really didn't know that there was a problem with this medicinal pill. I thought it was a medicinal pill that you specially refined for me. The effect is really good. This? Hayashi-Lin, did you really take it? And it leveled up twice? Kang Xiaoming still didn't believe it. So he said, then wait for me. I'll go over now. Let me see what's going on. Oh, you do it then. When Linny heard that Kang Ming was coming over, he was even more certain that this was definitely Kang Ming's doing. He made a medicinal pill to take his life. In the end, not only did he not achieve his goal, but he also raised 2 levels in a row. Anyone would be shocked by this. Not long after, Kang Ming came to Lin Yi's villa anxiously. When he saw Linny, he asked, Guru Linny, you really leveled up? Let me see? You haven't seen the world. Why are you so excited when I leveled up? Linny curled his lips. You're retarded. But I can let you see. After that, Linny revealed his peak heaven stage late stage strength. This strength couldn't be faked. Kang Ming immediately widened his eyes. Isn't this too unbelievable? Linny ate the extreme Qi gathering pill and was actually fine? Could it be that there was a problem with my refining? Or there was no problem with the extreme Qi gathering pill at all? Looking at Kang Ming standing there in a daze, Linny coughed twice and said, I say Kang Ming, you finished looking. Is there anything else? No, no more. Kang Ming didn't believe it. But the truth was in front of him. He had no choice but to believe it. He shook his head. He left Lin Yi's villa in a daze. It wasn't easy to work hard for many days and nights to successfully refine the extreme Qi gathering pill. He didn't expect it to be a wedding dress for Lin Yi. It was so fucking frustrating. Kang Ming left the villa. He didn't walk far before he couldn't help but take out his phone and call Ancestor Xianxin. Xiaoming, how is it going? Did you give the extreme Qi gathering pill to Lin Yi? Did that kid eat it? Ancestor Xianxin was more anxious than Kang Ming. He also wanted Lin Yi to die quickly. Yes. Lin Yi also ate it, but he didn't die. Kang Ming smiled bitterly and said in a daze. Didn't die? The effect of the extreme Qi gathering pill you refined wasn't good? That's impossible. Shenzhen and I checked it. Ancestor Xianxin was puzzled. He didn't die. Not only that, but he rose 2 levels in a row and became an expert with the strength of the peak late stage of heaven stage. I can see that his aura is not far from the great perfection. Kang Ming sighed and said, What did you say? Kang Ming, did you see it wrong? Lin Yi also rose? And he's an expert with the strength of the peak late stage of heaven stage, close to the great perfection? How is this possible? Ancestor Xuanxin's breathing became rapid. Are you sure that he took the extreme Qi gathering pill, and it was because of the extreme Qi gathering pill that he leveled up? This should be. Kang Ming said. Did you see it with your own eyes? Ancestor Xianxin asked. That's not true. When he took the pill, it's impossible for me to watch by the side. Kang Ming said. This Lin Yi is very cunning. He's very good at pretending and lying. Ancestor Xianxin said, I think that maybe Lin Yi has long been an expert with the strength of the peak late stage of heaven stage. He deliberately lied to us that he was at the peak middle stage of heaven stage. His goal was to make us numb and refine pills for him. Because with his strength at the peak late stage of heaven stage, if he takes another Qi gathering pill, it's very likely that he will break through to the great perfection realm. In this way, we definitely won't let this happen. And when Lin Yi took our extreme Qi gathering pill this time, I suspect that he might have recognized that there was something wrong with the pill, so he didn't take it. Then, when he saw that we couldn't refine pills for him, He didn't need to hide his strength anymore, so he revealed his original strength and deceived you. He made us feel that it was the effect of the extreme chi gathering pill, so we held back for a while. That's right. After listening to Ancestor Xuanqin's analysis, Kong Mingming was suddenly enlightened. Thinking about Lin Yi's usual personality and style, it was really possible. Acting like a grassroots loose cultivator was referring to Lin Yi. Thinking that it wasn't because of his extreme chi gathering pill that Lin Yi leveled up, Kong Mingming's mood improved again. Forget it, if he recognized it then he recognized it. Maybe it was Boss Bai who taught him. Chapter 3470. Even if it was Patriarch Xianqin himself, it was unlikely that he could kill Lin Yi. Alright, I won't bring him along anyway. I'll piss him off. Thinking of this, Kong Mingming felt much more at ease. Yes, piss him off, piss him off. Patriarch Xianqin also comforted himself. I won't let him come. He can't do anything anyway. He can't go against all the masters of the ancient sects, can he? Today, I'll announce the rules of the trial to the public and cut off Lin Yi's thoughts. Great, then I'll go back now, Kong Mingming said. After sending letters to all the ancient sects and families, today, Patriarch Xianqin announced an announcement regarding the participation of individual cultivators in the heaven-level trial. All individual cultivators or disciples of sects that were not qualified could use the map fragment of the heaven-level island as a token to participate in the heaven-level trial. Of course, this map fragment was scattered in all corners of the Wuxia cultivation world. It was very difficult to really obtain it. Although many of the map fragments were scattered outside, there were only a few people who could obtain it. Then, Patriarch Xianqin also announced the registration number, which was his phone number, for those who had the map fragment to sign up. As soon as this news came out, Lin Yi naturally received the news immediately. It was Boss Bai who informed him, and Lin Yi also wanted to ask about the chi-gathering pill that he had taken previously. So after hearing this news, Lin Yi said, Master, there's something very strange. It's like this. As he spoke, Lin Yi told Boss Bai about the strange situation after taking the chi-gathering pill. After hearing it, Boss Bai suddenly exclaimed, What? You took it? According to what you said. That's not a chi-gathering pill but a kind of pill called the ultimate chi-gathering pill. The ultimate chi-gathering pill? What's that? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. It's like this. The so-called extreme chi-gathering pill not only has the effect of leveling up, but also can bring out the potential of the practitioner. While the practitioner absorbs the pure energy inside the pill, he must also absorb a large amount of spiritual energy, and the effect is much more than that of a normal chi-gathering pill. He can make continuous breakthroughs and leveling up. Boss Bai explained, but if the absorption is not enough, if it's light, your meridians will be severed. If it's heavy, your body will explode and you will die. That's right, that's the feeling. Lin Yi nodded in agreement. This is the extreme chi-gathering pill. It looks like a good thing but it's like poison. Are there still places that can absorb so much spiritual chi of heaven and earth? So this medicinal pill was used by Xianqin and the others to harm you. Boss Bai was more or less infuriated, but then he thought of a very serious problem. What? Are you alright after taking it? Hee, don't forget I have the energy stones from the Bubbly clan. Lin Yi did not talk about the jade pendant space, but pushed the problem to the energy stones. I see. Boss Bai was enlightened. No wonder. But you're a little too dangerous in the future. In the future, if there's such a pill, don't eat it. You must bring it to me for appraisal and then we'll talk. Okay, I got it. Lin Yi nodded. Then I'll call Patriarch Xianqin right now. Say that you want to sign up for the heaven-level trial? Okay. Boss Bai nodded. Previously, Patriarch Xianqin had been rejecting Lin Yi. He didn't want Lin Yi to participate in the trial, but now he probably had a feeling of lifting a rock only to hit his own foot. Hanging up the phone, Lin Yi called Patriarch Xianqin directly. Patriarch Xianqin, I'm Lin Yi. Lin Yi said after the call was connected. In fact, Patriarch Xianqin had long saved Lin Yi's number, but he had never called it. It was always Kong Mingming who contacted Lin Yi. Lin Yi? What's the matter? Patriarch Xianqin was a little confused as to why Lin Yi suddenly called him. Patriarch Xianqin, I want to sign up and participate in the heaven-level trial, Lin Yi said. This. Lin Yi, you also know that your current identity is senior brother Xuanqin's disciple. If you want to sign up, you must be recommended by him. However, the person he recommended is Guan Xin, a wood inheritor, so you won't have a chance. Patriarch Xianqin said. Oh, I didn't say that. I'm talking about another way to sign up. Lin Yi said. Another way to sign up? Patriarch Xianqin was slightly stunned and said, What way to sign up? Do you have a map fragment of the heaven-level island? The map fragment of the Heaven Level Island had been released many years ago. Lin Yi had only stepped into the Heaven Level from a yellow rank cultivator in this year. Although he could be said to be a genius, it shouldn't have much to do with the map fragment. Naturally, Lin Yi said, I have 3 map fragments. I'll sign up first. I haven't decided who to give the other 2 spots to. I'll call you when I think about it. Patriarch Xianxin was stunned. In his opinion, it was impossible for Lin Yi to have such a thing. However, not only did Lin Yi have it, but he also had 3. That was quite a lot. However, Patriarch Xianxin was also a smart person. He adjusted his emotions and said, This Lin Yi, you are not a rogue cultivator. You have a sect. If the person in charge of your sect doesn't agree, then you can't participate. You mean that I'm from the 5 Elements sect, and you are the person in charge of our sect? Lin Yi asked with a frown. Of course not. The person in charge I'm talking about is Senior Brother Xianxin, your master. Although Patriarch Xianxin wanted to mess with Lin Yi, he couldn't say that kind of words. It didn't make sense. If Boss Bai found out, he would definitely cause trouble with him. Moreover, if Boss Bai said that the 5 Elements sect, as the initiator of the Heaven Level Island plan, did not limit the number of disciples participating, then how should Xianxin answer? It would be better to separate Lin Yi. Oh, then he will definitely agree. Lin Yi nodded after listening. That's not necessarily true. It's best to confirm it. Patriarch Xianxin said, We are also doing things according to the rules. You must let Boss Bai issue a letter to you. I got it. Lin Yi said, Then you wait. After that, Lin Yi hung up the phone. He felt a little strange. This Patriarch Xianxin knew that Boss Bai would definitely agree and issue a letter. What did he mean by saying that? Could it be that he was unhappy because I have the map fragment and wanted to find a sense of existence? After thinking about it, this was the only possibility. Lin Yi really couldn't think of any other possibilities. Chapter 3471. Father-in-law, what's wrong? Why are you so angry? Kang Ming, who had just rushed back, saw Patriarch Xuanqin's frown and immediately felt a little strange. Didn't we agree not to bring Lin Yi to play? That's true, but some things just don't develop according to your wishes. Lin Yi actually has a map fragment in his hands and there's more than one. Patriarch Xianxin said. I remember back in the secular world's house use auction, Lin Yi did seem to get a fragment of the map. I ignored it before, but now that you mention it, I remember. Kang Ming had a vague impression, but he didn't think it was a fragment of the map of Heaven Stage Island. Yes, this is really not easy to handle. Patriarch Xianxin said. Unless Boss Bai doesn't send a letter to Lin Yi, then Lin Yi won't have the chance to participate in the Heaven Stage trial. However, it's impossible for Boss Bai not to send a letter to Lin Yi. What if Boss Bai hates Lin Yi? Kang Ming thought about it and said, Is there any way for us to sow discord? Sow discord? Very good. Patriarch Xianxin slapped his thigh and suddenly thought of something. He laughed and said, Zhao Ming, you are really my proud disciple. Your suggestion is very good. Father-in-law, you have already thought of a way to sow discord? Kang Ming asked quickly. That's right. Patriarch Xianxin nodded and said, You go and rest first. This period of refining pills is tiring enough. Conserve your energy and prepare for the Heaven Stage trial. And I'll make arrangements here. Alright, then I'll go and rest first. Kang Ming was indeed very tired during this period. He was as tired as a dead dog. He finally refined an extreme qi gathering pill with great difficulty, but he didn't cheat Lin Yi. Over here. After Kang Ming left, Patriarch Xianxin picked up his phone and hesitated for a moment before dialing a number. After the call connected, Patriarch Xianxin gave some instructions in a low voice. However, the person on the other side was clearly a little emotional. He wanted to reject Patriarch Xuanqin's suggestion, but Patriarch Xianxin said, This must be done. Did you hear that? Otherwise, you know the consequences. Your parents and family will all be finished. On the other side, after hearing these words, they fell silent, tacitly agreeing to this proposal. On Lin Yi's side, he called Boss Bai again and told him about the recommendation letter. I know about this. I'll write a letter for you. You can give it to Xianxin when the time comes. Boss Bai agreed without hesitation. By the way, Wei Tuo said that Mei Wei and the others want to invite you over for dinner tonight to thank you for saving them in Southeast Asia. There's no need to thank me. But eating is not a problem. I also want to get the letter. Lin Yi smiled and said, Then I will go at night. Okay, see you at night. Boss Bai said. In the evening, Lin Yi came to Boss Bai's house. There was already a burst of fragrance in the kitchen. Bai Weituo was wearing an apron and was busy in the kitchen with Guan Xen. What Linny didn't expect was, Bai Weitua still has the ability to cook? Guan Xian smiled at Linny. The matter was resolved and her mood was much better. She heard that Linny was coming to dinner tonight, she would cook personally, and Bai Weitua would be her assistant. Boss Meiwei is in my bedroom. She said that she wants to thank you personally, and she bought you a small gift online. Bai Weitua said. You two are too polite. Linny smiled bitterly. Why did you buy a gift? I don't lack anything. It's just a token of appreciation, haha. Bai Weitua was also very happy recently. The incident in Southeast Asia had obviously allowed him to successfully capture Himeiwe's heart. Although Himeiwe had not yet agreed to the last line of defense, the two of them were now sleeping together. Linny nodded and walked in the direction of Bai Weitua's bedroom. Linny, you are here. Himeiwe waited for Linny to come in, closed the bedroom door and then said shyly, Things in Southeast Asia, I really want to thank you. I've always liked you. Thank you. Ah? Linny suddenly froze. He didn't understand what Himeiwe was trying to do. Himeiwe, don't joke around. I'm not joking. I like you. Although I can't be with you, but we can secretly. As Himeiwe said this, she tore the pajamas on her body. She was actually wearing nothing inside. This change made Linny suddenly stunned. He looked at Himeiwe in astonishment. He really didn't understand what was wrong with Himeiwe. It's okay, then I'll go first. Linny didn't have the idea of taking advantage of Himeiwe. He quickly turned his head and was ready to leave, but he didn't expect Himeiwe to directly rush over and hug him. It was reasonable to say that Linny was an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage. He was close to the great perfection realm. It was easy for him to escape, but he was really shocked that Himeiwe didn't put up any defenses. At this moment Himeiwe was hugging him tightly. Linny wanted to push her away, but Himeiwe didn't let go. Linny was about to force her away, but Himeiwe unexpectedly shouted, Help, help. Linny frowned. This was strange no matter how he looked at it. Although he was a heaven stage expert, it wasn't easy to push Himeiwe away without hurting her. As Himeiwe shouted, the door was suddenly pushed open. Bai Weitua rushed in hurriedly with a kitchen knife in his hand. However, seeing the scene in front of him, the kitchen knife directly fell to the ground with a clang sound. Boss Bai and Guan Xian also walked in. Seeing the scene in front of them, they were also a little stunned. Weitua. Linny wants to do that to me. Himeiwe broke away from Lin Yi's embrace, ran to Bai Weitua's side, threw herself into Bai Weitua's arms and started to cry. What? Although Bai Weitua didn't believe that Linny would do anything to Himeiwe, seeing that she was almost naked, he also couldn't come back to his senses for a while. Boss Bai turned his head. Himeiwe's clothes were untidy so he couldn't look too much. He was a little confused. Linny wanted to molest Himeiwe? How was that possible? Guan Xian was also very shocked. Did he have to molest Himeiwe? It would be great if he molested her and she could even cosplay as a nurse. Chapter 3472. I wanted to thank Linny for saving me and Weitua, but he told me to thank him with my body. Himeiwe sobbed. Tell you to thank him with your body? Bai Weitua looked at Himeiwe in shock. To be honest, he didn't believe it, but it was his girlfriend who said it, so he was in a dilemma. He wasn't an idiot. Linny had so many beautiful girlfriends and Guan Xian was one of them. Did Linny have to do something to Himeiwe? As expected, Guan Xian was annoyed. She and Linny had confirmed their relationship, so she spoke with confidence. Himeiwe, what do you mean? Why would Linny molest you? If he wants to molest me, he can molest me. Are you prettier than me? Better than my figure? Gentler than me? Better at cooking than me? Better at helping Linny than me? Guan Xian's words made Bai Weitua even more suspicious. Boss Bai, on the other hand, stood quietly at the side looking at the people in the field. He did not speak but observed. Bai Weitua, I don't know what's going on either, believe it or not. Linny shrugged and said helplessly. Believe it. Bai Weitua suddenly nodded and sneered. He pushed Himeiwe away and slapped her face. Bitch, are you crazy? You want to seduce boss and frame him? Do you think I'm an idiot? If Brother Lin wanted to do anything to you, he could have asked Kun Xian to take you there first. Why did he have to save us all? Himeiwe was also stunned and looked at Bai Weitua in disbelief. She didn't expect Bai Weitua to hit her. Himeiwe, tell me what's going on. At this moment, Boss Bai finally opened his mouth. Before, I always felt that you were with Bai Weitua for a purpose. It had never disappeared, but it was just a feeling. You've behaved well these days and you're a qualified granddaughter-in-law, so I allowed you to be with Weitua. My feeling is not wrong. To be honest, if there's a reason and Wei Tuo forgives you, you can stay here. Otherwise you can just leave. You don't believe me? He Meiwei gritted her teeth. She raised her head and looked at Bai Weituo stubbornly. On her fair face the palm print was particularly eye-catching. It was a ghastly sight to behold. Seeing that no one spoke, He Meiwei also fell silent. She didn't know what to do. She was hesitating. Struggle. He Meiwei, what's your relationship with Xianxin? Boss Bai suddenly asked. He Meiwei raised her head in shock and looked at Boss Bai. When I was in the Five Elements sect, Xianxin had two female disciples, Little 10 and Little 11. Little 11 is his daughter, called Himeichi. Boss Bai seemed to be lost in memories. According to Xuanxin's rule, his disciples must change their surnames to He. You are Himeiwei and she is Himeichi. You are the disciple of Little 10 who died young in Xuanxin's mouth, right? I. Himeiwei looked at Boss Bai speechless. Before, I didn't think so much. After all, there are many people with the same name. But today I suddenly thought of something. My guess is right? Little 10? Boss Bai said casually, back then you were perhaps only wounded and lost all your strength, but you did not die and became an ordinary person. Xianxin, on the other hand, sent you back to the mortal world as a chess piece that might never be used, right? I'm sorry. He Meiwei cried her heart out. She knelt down in front of Boss Bai. Uncle, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Master forced me to do it. So that's how it is. Boss Bai sighed helplessly. Based on his understanding of Ancestor Xianxin, this guy was really capable of doing anything, so his dissatisfaction towards Himeiwei faded a lot. Stand up. Since you are from the same sect, you don't have to do this. Linny is also your senior brother. Tell me, why did you frame him? I'm indeed Ancestor Black Earth's disciple, ranked 10th. I'm not sure what my real name is either. When I was very young, I was brought to the Five Element sect by my master. Later on, I was heavily injured by an explosion when I was concocting pills, and all my meridians were severed. It seemed like my master wanted to test something and I almost died. Later on, after I recovered, I no longer had any strength, so I was sent to the secular world. From then on, he sponsored me to go to school and only contacted me. Until now, I have never seen my parents. He has always used my parents as a threat to make me do things for him. Test? Is the elixir you refined called the Resurrection Golden Elixir? Boss Bai suddenly asked. Yes, uncle, do you know about it? He Meiwei was slightly stunned. Yes. I was also injured because of this elixir. Boss Bai smiled bitterly, and his gaze towards He Meiwei was much gentler. It seemed that Xianxin wanted to get rid of him, so he used such an insidious method, but He Meiwei was a sacrifice for the experiment. He Meiwei was stunned. Okay, let's not talk about this. I have studied the elixir recipe carefully later. It is a 7th grade or even 8th grade elixir recipe, and it can't be refined at all. If I use the usual method, I will definitely be injured or go berserk. Boss Bai waved his hand and said, did he force you to do what happened today? Yes, I argued with him, but he didn't agree. He threatened me with my parents, so I had no choice but to agree. He Meiwei sighed and said firmly, but uncle, I really like Bai Weituo and I want to be with him. Meiwei. Bai Weituo also regretted hitting He Meiwei at this time. It seemed that she had her own difficulties, so she was also a poor person. Okay, it's not your fault. Lin Yi thought of Yushu, a girl who also had a hard life, and was controlled by others for the same reason. Since Lin Yi could forgive Yushu, why couldn't he forgive He Meiwei? Thank you. He Meiwei said gratefully. He Meiwei, apart from this, have you done anything bad? Boss Bai nodded and continued to ask. Chapter 3473. The rest is to monitor Big Brother Lin Yi. He Meiwei did not hide it and said, Master Xianxin has given me a task from time to time to monitor Lin Yi's every move. Everything he says and does must be reported to him. Lin Yi nodded and said, then this time just say that I knocked you out and failed. Don't say that you were exposed. I will help you investigate your parents. Lin Yi said. Thank you, Brother Lin Yi. He Meiwei said gratefully. Weituo, He Meiwei had no choice. Let's forget about it this time. Don't blame her. Lin Yi said. Since He Meiwei had admitted her mistake, there was no need to pursue it further. And as long as Big Brother Lin doesn't blame her, I'll be fine. Bai Weituo said, listen to Meiwei. She's also a pitiful person. It's all because of that patriarch Xianxin. Meiwei, I'm sorry just now. I was impulsive and hit you. It's okay. It's my fault. It's only right for you to hit me. I should have come clean from the start. I shouldn't have taken the risk out of desperation. He Meiwei said. Well, Meiwei, call Xianxin and tell him about it. Then let's go to eat. Boss Bai waved his hand. This matter was over. Yes. Meiwei nodded. This time she did not hide it anymore. She directly called Patriarch Xianxin in front of everyone. Little Ten, how's it going? Patriarch Xianxin picked up the phone and asked anxiously. I'm sorry, Master. Linny is very vigilant. As soon as I tore my clothes, I made my intentions known. He knocked me out. Meiwei said. Oh, that shouldn't be the case. According to Zhao Ming, this Linny is a lustful man. He has so many beautiful girlfriends. You offered yourself to him, but he didn't want you? Patriarch Xianxin frowned. It was very possible that Linny could react in time and knock him out. After all, Linny was now an expert close to the Great Perfection realm, so it was normal for him to have such skills. However, why wasn't Linny tempted at all? He didn't even want the food that was delivered to his doorstep? This. Meiwei smiled bitterly. Maybe I'm not as good-looking as his girlfriend? That's not right. His girlfriend is an inheritor that can't be touched. He shouldn't have no interest in you. Patriarch Xianxin was still a little confused. Let's just talk about my classmate, Xinyan. With Lin Yi's strength, do you think he'd let her have a relationship with Xiaolong? Perhaps Lin Yi already had something going on with her. Of course, this is only my speculation. Meiwei wanted to gain Patriarch Xuanxin's trust. He wasn't afraid of speaking nonsense. What you said makes sense. Patriarch Black Earth sighed. He really had no more tricks up his sleeves. He had only thought of using this move because he was desperate. Originally, he did not intend to expose Meiwei so quickly, but in the end he did not succeed. Lin Yi was not as stupid as he thought. If it wasn't for the fact that there was no other way, Patriarch Black Earth could not do this. Now that Lin Yi's participation in the Heaven Stage trial was unstoppable, he could only let him participate. Otherwise there was really no reason to refuse. However, actually thinking about it, even if Lin Yi went, what could he do? There was one more of him. It was just a little more annoying to see. It was also a good thing that he protected those inheritors and accepted the final 5 elements inheritance. After all, they were all his girlfriends. How could he let anything happen to them? At that time, at the final Heaven Stage meeting, he would find a reason to eliminate Lin Yi. Thinking of this, Patriarch Black Earth was slightly relieved, so he continued, Did Lin Yi suspect you or have a secret with them? Not really. Maybe Lin Yi really thought that I fell in love with him when I was rescued in Southeast Asia. After all, many of Lin Yi's girlfriends fell in love with him when he was a hero saving a beauty. Maybe he thought that I was like that too? Meiwei said, and he might have considered the friendship between him and Bai Weitua, so he didn't say it. When I woke up, I went out to take a look and found that there was nothing wrong with everyone. And okay, then continue to be undercover. It's not your fault this time. It's true that you're not as good looking as Wang Xinyan, but it's nothing. Patriarch Black Earth was also a person who did big things. Since it was impossible, he did not continue to dwell on these trivial matters. I understand. Meiwei said quickly. The matter was over for the time being. No one would mention this to make Meiwei feel bad. After all, she was also a victim. Lin Yi took the letter issued by Boss Bai and began to prepare for the Heaven Stage trial. With Lin Yi's current ability and strength, it was enough to support Han Jingjing's alchemy. Therefore, before the Heaven Stage trial officially began, Lin Yi found Han Jingjing and planned to refine more qi-gathering pills with her. During this period, Lin Yi contacted a few ancient families that he was familiar with and plundered a lot of materials for qi-gathering pills. Although some ancient sects did not have a very good relationship with Lin Yi and were very dissatisfied with Lin Yi's robbing behavior, they dared not speak up. For example, the Dongfang family. Old Master Dongfang Badeo? I'm Lin Yi. Lin Yi said straightforwardly, Recently I have just been promoted to the peak of the late stage of Heaven Stage and I am trying to break through to the Great Perfection. Your family should have materials for refining qi-gathering pills. Give me some and then I can break through to the Great Perfection. Well, you send someone to send it to me, don't let me get it. From beginning to end, Dongfang Badeo was hung up without a word. Although he was aggrieved, he was really helpless. Everyone was at the peak of the late stage of Heaven Stage and they were all close to the Great Perfection, but Lin Yi's strength was stronger than him. Perhaps even if he participated in the Heaven Stage trial in a few days and really hit the Great Perfection, he was not the opponent of the current Lin Yi. Didn't you hear that the ancient level had already spread? Lin Yi could independently kill the master of the peak of the late stage of Heaven Stage. Unless many masters of the Great Perfection joined forces to strangle Lin Yi, otherwise there was no way to deal with him. However, where could he find so many masters of the Great Perfection to surround Lin Yi? It was a completely unrealistic idea. Even if he wanted to, others might not agree. Only the initiator of the Heaven Stage Island plan, who had the appeal like ancestor Xianxin, was qualified. Chapter 3474. Anyway, no one in the Dongfang family could refine this thing, and it was useless to put the materials in the warehouse. At the same time, some of the ancient sects and houses weren't very willing, but some of them wanted to get on Lin Yi's good side. With the materials from before, Lin Yi had a total of 15 portions of materials for the Qi Gathering Pill. Even if the refining of the materials for the Qi Gathering Pill failed halfway, it was enough to refine a lot of Qi Gathering Pills. Lin Yi had 3 entrance tickets to the Heaven Class trial, so there were still 2 places left. Of these 2 places, Lin Yi actually wanted to give one to Han Jingjing, and the other to Wang Xinyan or Sun Jingyi. Wang Xinyan had some problems with her physique, and he didn't know if she could cultivate, and Sun Jingyi was an auxiliary type, and her mental cultivation method was different from Lin Yi's, and he didn't know if she could do it. The key was that Sun Jingyi's level was different from normal levels, and it didn't matter much to her whether she could go to the Heaven Class Island or not. However, the Qi Gathering Pill still had to be refined and Han Jingjing had to break through. Han Jingjing's 1st and 2nd level automatic medicinal cauldrons were already on the market, but the Heavenly Elixir sect, or the 5-element sect's imitation was still not on the market. It was not that Dr. Benjamin too didn't want to be on the market, but because the 1st and 2nd level automatic medicinal cauldrons used a kind of energy stone, the so-called spirit stone, which was simply not available. The 5-element sect didn't have much of this kind of thing. It was enough to keep it for their own use, but if they used it for the use of those medicinal cauldrons, then they would be stretched thin, and even if they sold it they couldn't provide after-sales service to those who bought it. When this news came it made Ancestor Xianxin very upset. The extreme Qi Gathering Pill didn't kill Lin Yi. Meiwa didn't punish Lin Yi, and now she had mastered the technology of the 1st and 2nd level automatic medicinal cauldrons, but it was completely useless. The most important material needed, the energy stone, couldn't be obtained at all. Xiaoming, there's news from the 1st and 2nd level cauldrons. They can't be replicated. We don't have enough energy stones. I don't know where Lin Yi got them from. Patriarch Xianxin said helplessly, don't even think about making money. I don't think our 5-element sect is suitable for doing business. We've been following the trend and haven't made any money. Instead, he was going to lose all his savings. Now most of my disciples are dead. Some are dead and some are injured. When the 2 of us go to the Heaven Stage Island, I'm afraid the 5-element sect in the secular world will decline. This? Father-in-law, let's take it one step at a time. If you and I can both break through to the way of heaven at the same time, it won't be difficult for us to rebuild the 5-element sect when we return. I think we shouldn't think too much about this matter. Lin Yi's energy stones were probably obtained from the Bubbly clan. The Bubbly clan has a lot of these things. I don't know what agreement Lin Yi and the Bubbly clan reached at that time, or else they wouldn't have killed Big Senior Brother. Kang Ming said, however, if we talk about energy stones I think of something. Lin Yi took the extreme Qi Gathering Pill, maybe it was because there were energy stones for him to absorb energy. That's why he was saved from danger. Oh? That's very possible. Patriarch Xuanqin's face turned gloomy after listening. I didn't think of this. If I had known earlier I wouldn't have refined pills for him. It's really a waste of effort. That's right. Kang Ming nodded. Next, I will wholeheartedly prepare for the Heaven Stage trial. Father-in-law, during this time I'm going to refine a few Qi Gathering Pills to increase my strength to the peak of the late stage of Heaven Stage. Oh? Xiaoming, have you really decided? Patriarch Xianxin was slightly stunned. The advantage of us alchemists is that we can refine Qi Gathering Pills for our own consumption, but Qi Gathering Pills are only effective for experts below the Heavenly Way. You can't use Qi Gathering Pills to advance to the Heavenly Way. If there are no such pills to improve strength above the Heavenly Way, then you may never be able to set foot on the Heavenly Way. Because no one can say for sure what will happen in the future, they have all experienced it. With my strength, when the time comes to open the Heaven Stage Island, won't I be cannon fodder? So, I must improve my strength. This is my last chance, let's give it a shot. If I go to the Heaven Stage Island and have no hope of advancing, then I will come back here and continue to lead the 5-element sect. Anyway, it's a good thing that my strength is there. At worst, I won't think about the Heavenly Way anymore. Kang Ming said fiercely. Moreover, Lin Yi also took elixirs to advance. This guy almost never advanced by himself. I think he has been relying on elixirs to advance all the way. If he's fine, I guess I'll be fine too. Also, Lin Yi has been frantically collecting materials for Qi Gathering Pills recently. he said it was for himself to break through the heavenly way, but I think it's for the people around him. Alright, then you go. Patriarch Xianqian nodded after listening and agreed with Kang Mingming's proposal. On Lin Yi's side he had the same plan. Kang Mingming was really right. After receiving the news, Han Jingjing returned to East Ocean City overnight. Brother Lin Yi, are you talking about refining third-grade elixirs? Although Jingjing is confident, we don't have a third-grade medicine cauldron. Han Jingjing said with some embarrassment. Jingjing has been simulating the formula and method of refining third-grade elixirs, but without a medicine cauldron, I can't experiment. That's a problem. Lin Yi suddenly remembered that he didn't have a third-grade medicine cauldron. He had always wanted to get one before, but Yu Coiling Tiger wouldn't give it no matter what. Of course he was probably willing to give it now. Lin Yi planned to give him a call. You wait. I'll get one from Yu Coiling Tiger. Okay, hee, this time Yu Coiling Tiger will definitely give it to you. Han Jingjing also said with a smile. Lin Yi dialed Yu Coiling Tiger's phone number. Yu Coiling Tiger hadn't contacted Lin Yi for a while, and he had almost forgotten about it. Lin Yi was gone, Han Jingjing was gone, and he had regained his peace in the class. Just when he thought that Lin Yi had disappeared and would never cross paths with him again, Lin Yi actually called, which made him slightly surprised. Boss Lin Yi, why are you looking for me? Yu Coiling Tiger carefully picked up the phone and asked. 2 things. One is to hide the right family and join the Cultivator Alliance Association that I founded. In the future, you will be under the control and jurisdiction of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. The second is to get me a third-grade medicine cauldron. Is there a problem? Lin Yi said directly. Chapter 3475. Sure, I'll give you half an hour. Lin Yi said. Half an hour, okay. Although Right Coiling Tiger had no other choice, he still nodded in agreement. House Yu was quite well informed. Previously, Lin Yi had been searching for materials to refine the Qi-gathering pill in the ancient level, and the ancient level didn't dare to voice out their anger. Therefore, how could Right Coiling Tiger dare to challenge Lin Yi? Therefore, after hanging up Lin Yi's call, Right Coiling Tiger found Right Jintian to discuss a countermeasure. The two of them said that they were discussing a countermeasure, but in fact there was no countermeasure at all. They talked about Lin Yi's recent awesome deeds in the ancient level, and then Right Coiling Tiger said, Uncle Lin Yi is very awesome now. We can't afford to offend him. You see, the ancient level doesn't dare to voice out their anger. Yes, I think so too. Then it's not shameful for us to hide in the House Yu and join Lin Yi's Cultivator Alliance Association. Moreover, we can be protected in the future. I think it's a good thing. Right Jintian said after a moment of silence. Yes. Then should we agree to him? Right Coiling Tiger asked. Agreeing to him is a good thing. Why wouldn't we agree? Right Jintian said, other families don't even have the chance to join. Right Jintian directly turned a bad thing into a good thing. This was a change of mentality and it was actually a helpless decision. In fact, even if Lin Yi asked Kang Mingming for it now, he probably wouldn't dare to refuse. However, this guy was stalling him, so there was really nothing he could do. Moreover, Lin Yi didn't want to fall out with the Xianqian ancestor right now. Although he could threaten to not let these inheritors participate in the inheritance plan. However, what if the Xianqian ancestor gave up? If he really didn't start this plan, then Lin Yi would really be screwed. If he didn't go to Sky State Island and couldn't find Zhang Liju, what would happen to Yu Xiaoka and Armadillo? Therefore, Lin Yi had no choice but to maintain this somewhat mysterious relationship with Patriarch Xianqian. He couldn't make things too tense. Soon, Yu Panhu delivered the third-grade medicine cauldron. Although this thing was very precious, the Yu family had more than one. In the past, they didn't give it to them because they were afraid that the Heavenly Elixir sect would criticize them. But now, would the Heavenly Elixir sect dare to say anything? If the Heavenly Elixir sect had the ability, they could go and reason with Lin Yi, but they didn't have the guts to do so. The cauldron was brought over. Right Coiling Tiger saw Han Jingjing and Lin Yi again. He couldn't help but sigh. Boss Lin Yi, so you've already taken Han Jingjing down. You're living together shamelessly. I was wondering why I hadn't seen you for a while. Lin Yi was a bit taken aback. Since when did he live with Han Jingjing? However, since Yu Panhu said so, he didn't deny it. He nodded and said, then don't harass her in the future. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Ah, that's for sure. A graceful lady is a gentleman's desire. She didn't belong to anyone before, but now that I have her, of course, I can't chase after her anymore. Right Coiling Tiger touched his bald head and laughed. Boss Lin Yi. Then I'll join your association. You can protect our Yu family in the future. We'll do things for you, but don't let others cause trouble for us. Of course. Linny nodded. When you join, you'll also be protected. You know about the Song family and the Hidden Tang family, right? So many masters went and they were all Sky State masters. They were equivalent to great perfection, but they all died. Yes. That's what our Yu family wants. Right? Coiling Tiger nodded. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. You guys have fun refining pills. After Right Coiling Tiger left, Lin Yi saw Han Jingjing studying the medicinal cauldron, so he asked, "How is it? Can you refine a third-grade medicinal pill?" With Brother Lin Yi's current strength level, it shouldn't be a problem for Jingjing to help. However, after all, it's two people transferring qi together. Jingjing is afraid that there will be problems. The materials for the qi-gathering pill are limited, and they are very expensive. If they are wasted, Jingjing will be distressed. Han Jingjing said, Jingjing is thinking if she can transform this third-grade medicinal cauldron into a third-grade automatic medicinal cauldron. Then Brother Lin Yi can inject qi himself, and you can refine the third-grade qi-gathering pill. Jingjing doesn't need to participate. Lin Yi's eyes lit up after hearing it. It was indeed so. If Han Jingjing transformed the medicinal cauldron, then with Lin Yi's strength level, he could continuously condense the alchemy fire and automatically change the fire and temperature through the medicinal cauldron. Then Lin Yi could completely refine pills. The drawbacks from before, because of Han Jingjing's first-grade and second-grade automatic medicinal cauldrons, were completely gone. That's a good idea. Will it be troublesome to modify it? Lin Yi asked. It's not troublesome at all. Han Jingjing said, the theory is actually the same. The only troublesome part is the substitution of materials and the writing of the firmware. But if it's just using a third-grade cauldron to modify and not looking for materials to substitute, then it's very easy. After all, Jingjing has already made some of the formulas for third-grade medicinal pills. She just needs to write it into the firmware. All right. Lin Yi couldn't help but praise Han Jingjing's cleverness. If that was the case, then he could really mass-produce qi-gathering pills. Right, Lin Yi bro? Can that godly pesticide cauldron of yours be repaired? If it can be repaired, then we can use that to modify it. In Master Zhang Liju's notes, there are large amounts of 4th grade, 5th grade, and even higher grade recipes. I'm thinking that we might need to make 4th grade and 5th grade medicinal pills in the future, so why don't we use it all at once and modify it with the cauldron? That way we can use it all the time. Han Jingjing said. Repairing Shinong Cauldron. Lin Yi suddenly remembered the incomplete book he got from Hidden House Han. Before, Lin Yi wasn't a blacksmith yet, so he didn't think much of it and put it away. Now that he thought about it, he should be able to repair Shinong Cauldron. With that thought, Lin Yi quickly took out the book and flipped through it. As expected, there was a chapter on repairing cauldrons. Lin Yi bro, what book is this? It looks quite old? Han Jingjing was surprised. A book on repairing, there's a chapter on repairing cauldrons. Let me see if I can repair it. Lin Yi said. All right. Han Jingjing nodded. Then I'll write the firmware to modify the cauldron first. Lin Yi bro, go and repair it. If you really can repair it, then we'll use Shinong Cauldron to make it. I'll give this third-grade cauldron to Jing for research. Chapter 3476. If he wanted to repair a weapon, there were many conditions. First of all, divine weapons were all things with spirituality. When forging, it required a large amount of true qi, and when repairing it, it also required the same. Otherwise, the requirements for the environment were also very harsh. It had to be repaired in a place with abundant heaven and earth spirit energy, otherwise it was very likely that the repair would fail. Alchemy was actually the same, but alchemy required a medicinal cauldron, which could be poured into the medicinal cauldron and gathered together, but weapons could not be placed in a medicinal cauldron, because weapons had different shapes and sizes, long and short, and it was impossible to make a unified forging container. Of course, a place with abundant heaven and earth spirit energy might be very difficult for others to find, but for Lin Yi, who had a cultivation artifact like the Jade Pendant, it was not a problem. He only needed to take the medicinal cauldron into the space of the Jade Pendant to forge and repair it. Lin Yi continued to look at the second condition, which was to repair the medicinal cauldron. One had to be a cultivator of heaven stage or above. The higher the level of the medicinal cauldron, the higher the corresponding level of the cultivator. Of course, this was not absolute. The surrounding environment would affect this factor. For example, if a perfected weapon tinker of late-stage peak heaven stage were to repair a first-grade cauldron, then he would be able to repair it in an ordinary environment. His physical strength, true qi, and strength had already made up for the lack of environment. And an early-stage heaven stage expert could also repair a second-grade medicinal cauldron in a situation where the spirit energy was very abundant. This was because the environment had made up for his own shortcomings. Seeing this, Lin Yi was suddenly happy. Originally, he thought that the divine armament cauldron was an ancient artifact. In Lin Yi's opinion, it should be at least a heavenly Tao expert, right? However, he did not expect that the great perfection master would have this advantage, which was that the surrounding environment could supplement one's strength. Then, the heaven and earth spirit energy in the space of the jade pendant should be endless and abundant. In other words, no matter how high the grade of the medicinal cauldron Lin Yi wanted to repair, as long as it was in this environment, he could succeed. Of course, this rule was only limited to the repair of the medicinal cauldron. To repair other things, there were naturally other conditions for other things which were not exactly the same. Then Lin Yi continued to look at the following conditions. In order to repair a medicine cauldron, one must have dark steel, fine steel, and blue crystal powder. It seemed that these three things had become the most basic materials for refining and mending tools. However, Lin Yi currently had all three items with him. He still had some left so he could use them. The rest. It was a mantra to condense the forging fire. However, the mantra was extremely complicated, causing Lin Yi to feel a little dizzy. However, according to Lin Yi's past experience, he could already condense the smithing fire using the method of refining the jade pendant space. Because of the success of the profound chi necklace before, Lin Yi didn't need to study that extremely complicated mantra. As long as the final goal was the same, it was fine. Lin Yi said to Han Jingjing, who was typing away on her laptop, "Jingjing, I can roughly repair it. Protect me and don't disturb me. I'll calm down and repair it. And then brother Lin Yi, you repair it. Jingjing is also busy here. I guess we'll be busy together," Han Jingjing said. Lin Yi nodded, sat cross-legged on the bed, and then entered the jade pendant space. Because his real body was still outside, there didn't seem to be anything strange from the outside. After entering the jade pendant space, Lin Yi suddenly found that the medicine cauldron was placed in the condensed space in the jade pendant space, while he was in the space with Jiao Yazi and the ghost. The two spaces existed independently and were not connected. This made Lin Yi a little confused. It seemed that the Shinong cauldron couldn't be brought here, right? This discovery gave Lin Yi a headache. It was completely different from what he had imagined before, so Lin Yi couldn't help but ask, "Jiao Lao, I want to ask, can I bring the thing in the space condensed by my jade pendant over?" "No." Jiao Yazi answered. Lin Yi completely gave up. "What's the use if I can't bring it over?" "But your spirit can go over." Jiao Yazi's words made Lin Yi ecstatic. "Your real body can't go in, but your spirit can." "Then, how can my spirit go in?" Lin Yi couldn't help but ask. "It's simple," Elder Jiao said. "All you need to do is use your will. Just think about your nascent spirit and go over there." Lin Yi moved his mind slightly. Sure enough, Lin Yi's spirit entered the space next to him. Lin Yi found the broken Shinong cauldron behind the mountain of energy stones. He sat down cross-legged and prepared the materials. He started to repair the Shinong cauldron according to the method on the incomplete weapon mending technique. Time passed quickly. Because he had the experience of condensing the space in the jade pendant and the essence necklace, Lin Yi was very familiar with the repair process this time. In addition, there was endless heaven and earth spiritual chi in the space in the jade pendant, so the repair process was very smooth. Lin Yi was extremely excited. Previously, he could only look at the Shinong cauldron, but he couldn't use it. Moreover, he had missed the Shinong cauldron in the ancient tomb. This made Lin Yi feel very helpless. But now everything was different. Lin Yi could easily repair the Shinong cauldron, which made up for Lin Yi's previous shortcomings. Of course, this was also thanks to Right Coiling Tiger. If he hadn't given him such a broken Shinong cauldron, he really wouldn't have the chance to repair it. It wasn't until dawn that Lin Yi finished repairing the Shinong cauldron. The process was tortuous, but it was still smooth. The small problems that occurred were also within a controllable range. "Jingjing, the Shinong cauldron is repaired. Take a look." Lin Yi came out of the space in the jade pendant and brought the Shinong cauldron out. "Oh, repaired?" Han Jingjing raised her head from the code and looked at Lin Yi. "Big brother Lin Yi, you're really amazing. You can repair the medicine cauldron without moving. Are you an automatic repair machine?" "Hehe, I put the medicine cauldron on me. I repaired it using a special method. I'll tell you slowly when I have time." The method Lin Yi used to repair the medicine cauldron in the space in the jade pendant was too complicated. Lin Yi couldn't explain it in a short time, so he decided to tell Han Jingjing later. Chapter 3477. It had to be said that Han Jingjing was a little genius. Such a complicated transformation of the Shinong cauldron only took 2 days to complete. Of course, This was also because of the previous experience of making first-grade and second-grade automatic medicinal cauldrons. Moreover, Han Jingjing also added an energy replenishment function to this Shenong automatic medicinal cauldron. An external energy stone box was used to absorb the energy from the energy stones, in case Lin Yi's physical strength and qi were insufficient and the refining failed. Big brother Lin Yi Jingjing is done. Take a look. Han Jingjing handed the modified Shenong automatic medicinal cauldron to Lin Yi. After the transformation, the Shenong automatic medicinal cauldron was divided into two parts. The main body was the Shenong cauldron, and next to it there was an electronic device. On the top was a touchable display similar to a tablet computer, and below was a place to place the energy stones. This thing looks like a combination of modern and ancient technology. Lin Yi sighed. Yes, the Shenong cauldron is temporarily irreplaceable. If a substitute material is found, then it can be remade, and the appearance will also look more beautiful and natural, but now it is neither fish nor fowl, Han Jingjing said. That doesn't matter. Whether it looks good or not, as long as it can be refined into medicinal pills. Lin Yi waved his hand and said, this thing is used not to look at. Big brother Lin Yi is comforting Jingjing. Han Jingjing smiled and said, Big brother Lin Yi, rest assured. In the future, Jingjing will help you transform it into a more powerful one. With Jingjing's current level, this is all I can do. Big brother Lin Yi can start refining pills. Jingjing, you say it? I now have a total of 15 sets of refining materials for the qi gathering pill. I should divide them into several batches to refine. This is the best refining method to produce the most qi gathering pills. Lin Yi knew that Han Jingjing's medicinal cauldron could generally have a refining bonus. There were also cases of refining 3 pills from 2. Big brother Lin Yi will know if you try it? Han Jingjing smiled and said, try it? Lin Yi was slightly surprised. But since Han Jingjing said so, Lin Yi believed her and calmed his emotions down. He suppressed all kinds of distracting thoughts. After sitting cross-legged for a moment and adjusting his body's condition to its peak, he was ready to start refining pills. Lin Yi pressed the start button of the Shenong automatic medicine cauldron. Suddenly, a welcome screen appeared. It was Han Jingjing's smile. There was a line of text below, the intelligent alchemy system Jingjing built for Lin Yi Gij. Seeing this welcome interface, Lin Yi could not help but smile bitterly. Han Jingjing was really interesting. Make this thing. Then a few options appeared on the screen. 1. Concoction of known elixir, automatic analysis of unknown elixir recipe, satellite network online update. Looking at the 3 options, Lin Yi couldn't help but be a little surprised. This medicinal cauldron not only seemed to be able to refine known medicinal pills, but also unknown medicinal pills? However, Lin Yi did not have any unknown medicinal pills for the time being, so he clicked on the first option, concoction of known elixir. After entering, there were a number of options such as first-grade medicinal pills, second-grade medicinal pills, third-grade medicinal pills, and so on. Lin Yi directly chose third-grade medicinal pills and found the qi-gathering pill in the subdirectory. After clicking on it, a line of text appeared on the screen. Please wait a moment. Jingjing is currently generating the script for refining the qi-gathering pill for Big Brother Lin Yi. After Jingjing's calculation, every time you put in 5 sets of refining materials, you will get the greatest benefit. Looking at the line of text above, Lin Yi was instantly stunned. Han Jingjing was right. She told him to try it and he would know. Sure enough, he knew. Thus, Lin Yi followed the instructions above and put in 5 sets of materials for the qi-gathering pill, then pressed the confirm button. Beep beep. The tablet emitted 2 crisp beeps. Lin Yi looked up and saw the tablet display. Concoction script has been generated. According to the automatic analysis of the weight in the medicinal cauldron, 5 sets of materials will be put in. Estimated time of refining is 3 hours and 24 minutes. Please accumulate your strength and vital energy in advance. Estimated number of medicinal pills produced is 7. It was only a little more than 3 hours of refining, which was not considered long. However, when he saw the number of medicinal pills produced, Lin Yi could not help but be slightly stunned. He could actually refine 7 qi-gathering pills. However, this was only because of Han Jingjing. If it were anyone else, they could only refine 1 pill at a time. If they succeeded, then they succeeded. If they failed, then they failed. But Lin Yi was doing it in batches. Even the scraps could be combined into a new medicinal pill. Naturally, the efficiency was very high. After hearing the beep, please inject pure vital energy into the medicinal cauldron. The medicinal cauldron will automatically adjust the intensity of the fire, the temperature, and the attribute of the fire. So he only needed to infuse true qi into it? Lin Yi could not help but be slightly stunned. Didn't that mean that this medicinal cauldron could be used without the need of an alchemist? Thinking of this, Lin Yi turned to look at Han Jingjing, who was beside him, with some doubts. Han Jingjing seemed to have seen through Lin Yi's doubts, so she said, "Big brother Lin Yi, actually Jingjing has long mastered this technique. Previously, since the energy in the energy stone could be converted into alchemy fire, it was not difficult to convert the cultivator's vital energy into alchemy fire. However, once this technique appeared, alchemists would not be worth much. Without many restrictions, anyone could refine medicinal pills. Although it might cause the medicinal cauldron to sell well temporarily in the future, I'm afraid this thing will depreciate. Secondly, every cultivator's vital energy is different. Jingjing can't analyze them one by one, but Jingjing knows Big Brother Lin Yi's vital energy. So, Big Brother Lin Yi doesn't have to worry. Other than Big Brother Lin Yi, only Jingjing can use this medicinal cauldron. No one else can. So that's how it is." Lin Yi nodded. This way it saved a lot of trouble. Lin Yi completely let go of the worry in his heart. If he was not confident in alchemy fire, how could Lin Yi not be confident in his vital energy? He had helped others to level up several times. Lin Yi was still confident in his vital energy. Not only that, Lin Yi had the Jade Pendant Space, a killer weapon. He could directly use the art of dragon mastery to transfer the pure energy in the Jade Pendant Space into the medicinal cauldron. This way, Lin Yi's body was like a conductor, purely playing the role of transmission. He did not need to waste his own vital energy. Of course, Han Jingjing did not know this. She still thought that Lin Yi also had times of exhaustion, so she set the energy stone's position. Chapter 3478. The medicine cauldron emitted a crisp hum, and the tablet next to it also showed the words "refining in progress, warming up." Next to it was a countdown timer. Then the medicine cauldron began to heat up slowly. After the time it took to burn a stick of incense, it finally gradually entered the state of alchemy. Under Han Jingjing's genius modification, as long as the vital energy was continuously infused, the internal program would automatically adjust the intensity and temperature of the fire. The excess vital energy would be stored in the energy stones at the bottom of the medicine cauldron. If the vital energy was really exhausted when the alchemy was about to be completed, the medicine cauldron would detect that the vital energy was insufficient and automatically use the vital energy stored in the energy stones to replenish the vital energy. However, this wasn't very useful for Lin Yi, unless he was concocting a pill that was beyond his level, and he didn't have enough pure qi to supply and maintain the concoction. Only then would he use the energy stones to make up for it. From this point of view, Han Jingjing's design was still useful. The medicinal herbs in the medicine cauldron began to change little by little under the control of the alchemy fire produced by the vital qi. This process was slow and gentle. If it was an ordinary person, they would not be able to notice it at all. However, alchemists enjoyed this process the most. However, Lin Yi could not enjoy it. He did not know what was going on in the medicine cauldron. He was looking at the tablet next to it. As time passed, Lin Yi only needed to input pure vital qi. He did not need to think about anything else. On the screen, the countdown timer was slowly ticking. Finally, with the last crisp hum, the alchemy was finally over. Phew! Although the whole alchemy process was calm and there were no accidents, Lin Yi was still very nervous. After all, this was the first time he had used Shenong's automatic medicine cauldron to refine a qi-gathering pill. That was 5 sets of ingredients. If he was blind, it would be too late for him to cry. After calming his mind and breathing a little more, Lin Yi stood up and opened the medicine cauldron in front of him. As soon as the lid was opened, a strong medicinal fragrance immediately spread throughout the jade space. Lin Yi only took a sniff and immediately felt refreshed, relaxed and happy. From the looks of it, it should be a success, right? Lin Yi looked into the medicine cauldron expectantly. Sure enough, there were 7 qi-gathering pills lying quietly inside, each one full and fragrant. Success. The quality of the qi-gathering pill was very high. It could be said that it was on par with the one he found in Zhang Liju's tomb. Lin Yi took one out and looked at it. It was indeed extraordinary. Jingjing, let's start taking it now. This thing. Although we don't have to eat it while it's hot, the earlier we take it, the faster our strength will increase. Lin Yi said to Han Jingjing. And then, let's eat it together. Han Jingjing also picked up a qi-gathering pill. Oh, that's right, Jingjing, it's best if we take it separately. When the qi-amassing pill breaks through, our clothes might explode, so it won't be convenient for us. Lin Yi suddenly thought of this serious problem. It's okay. Han Jingjing said indifferently. Jingjing belongs to big brother Lin Yi. It doesn't matter if I see it. Could it be that big brother Linny is afraid of Jingjing looking? That's not it. Linny paused, but since Han Jingjing didn't care, Linny didn't hesitate any longer. He closed the curtains and said to Han Jingjing, "If that's the case, why don't we take off our clothes? Otherwise they'll explode too." Okay. Han Jingjing nodded. Very quickly, she took off all her clothes and sat on the bed cross-legged. She didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it at all. On the other hand, Linny was tempted, but this was the time to take the chi-gathering pill. Linny quickly abandoned these thoughts and took off his clothes as well, but there was still a natural physiological reaction, and it made Linny feel very awkward. After Han Jingjing glanced at it, she didn't continue to look. It seemed that Han Jingjing's willpower was much stronger than Lin Yi's. Linny really didn't know how Han Jingjing's brain worked. At this time, Han Jingjing had already stuffed the chi-gathering pill into her mouth, and Linny smiled bitterly. He wasn't willing to fall behind and took the chi-gathering pill. Linny had taken the chi-gathering pill before, so when taking the chi-gathering pill, it was a walk in the park. Linny could still endure the pain. This kind of energy would skyrocket in an instant. As long as he clenched his teeth, he could endure it. Han Jingjing, on the other hand, looked like she was in pain, but she held on and didn't make a sound. It was just like when Linny helped her increase her strength. Han Jingjing was a very strong girl. Time passed slowly. Han Jingjing successfully broke through to the early stage of Heaven stage, and what made Linny a little regretful was that after taking this chi-gathering pill, he actually didn't break through to the peak of the late stage of Heaven stage. Instead, he was infinitely close to the Great Perfection realm, but there was still a gap. Although a little gap didn't affect Linny much, and the current Linny could instantly kill the experts of the Great Perfection realm of Heaven stage, his own strength level was still a little imperfect. Jingjing, you continue to take it. In theory, after you take 7 more chi-gathering pills, your strength should be equal to mine. You take it slowly, I will refine some more. Linny said to Han Jingjing. Now there were only 5 left, and Han Jingjing still needed 2 more, so Linny had to continue to refine pills. And then I'll have to trouble big brother Linny. Han Jingjing nodded. What trouble do I have? If I didn't have your cauldron, it would be hard, but now alchemy is simply a piece of cake for me. Linny smiled and said, "This is the first time I realized that alchemy can be so easy." Han Jingjing was praised by Linny and she seemed very happy. Her little face blushed and she suddenly said, "Big brother Linny, hug." Linny was slightly stunned, but he saw that in Han Jingjing's eyes, besides joy, there wasn't too complicated a color of desire, so he went over and hugged Han Jingjing. On the other hand, Linny himself was quite uncomfortable, so he quickly put her down after hugging her, and then turned around intending to concentrate on alchemy. Time slowly passed. Han Jingjing continued to take the chi-gathering pill, and Linny continued to refine pills. When Han Jingjing took the last chi-gathering pill, she was already an expert of the late stage of Heaven stage. Although she was an expert who achieved it quickly, her strength was real. Chapter 3479. Linny hesitated for a moment but still took out 4 of them, 3 for Han Jingjing and 1 for himself. Linny planned to break through to the peak late phase of Heaven class in one go. Otherwise, Lin Yi's heart would always feel that it wasn't perfect. And for Han Jingjing, 3 pills would also be enough for her to smoothly break through to the peak of Heaven class. Lin Yi planned to bring Han Jingjing along to Heaven class island. Han Jingjing could become Lin Yi's most powerful helper. Because Lin Yi only took 1 pill, his breakthrough speed was faster than Han Jingjing's. This time, Lin Yi finally succeeded in breaking through to the peak late phase of Heaven class. Although, from Lin Yi's perspective, it wasn't much different from before, he still felt very satisfied in his heart. Once upon a time, this was Lin Yi's ultimate goal. The peak late phase of Heaven class was the realm that Lin Yi dreamed of, but now it was easily achieved. Lin Yi didn't think that the final promotion would be so smooth. It could be said that these were the few levels that Lin Yi had the easiest to break through. Of course, if it was someone else, it might be the most difficult level to break through. But Lin Yi broke through easily, thanks to Kong Ming Ming and Right Coiling Tiger. Without them there wouldn't be the current Lin Yi. And Han Jingjing also broke through to the peak late phase of Heaven class. At this point Lin Yi still had 10 chi gathering pills left. If these pills were given to Wang Xinyan, she should be able to break through smoothly. Because before the peak late phase of Earth class, she could rely on Lin Yi to help her level up. Wang Xinyan was very happy to see Lin Yi back, but after Lin Yi came back, he went to Han Jingjing's bedroom and stayed there for many days. There was no movement, and Wang Xinyan was finally a little worried. He asked Han Xiaoqiao when he was in school. He said that he didn't know, the two never came out before, and so Xinyan couldn't help but go to Han Jingjing's house to see if something was wrong with Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. Han Xiaoqiao the bookworm didn't know anything at all, so Xinyan decided to take a look for herself. At this time Lin Yi and Han Jingjing had just broken through. Han Jingjing also became a peak late-stage heaven rank expert and was very excited. She couldn't help throwing herself into Lin Yi's embrace. "Big brother Lin Yi, you are so amazing." Xinyan, on the other hand, had just pushed the door open when she saw the scene in front of her, and how naked Lin Yi and Han Jingjing were. Xinyan's face reddened at Han Jingjing's words. "I didn't see anything. I'll go first," Xinyan said to herself. Lin Yi wasn't someone like that. Why was he so obsessed after playing with Han Jingjing for so many days? This Han Jingjing, didn't she know that Lin Yi had other things to do? She kept pestering Lin Yi, saying that Lin Yi was amazing, but Lin Yi hadn't touched her even after living with her for so long. Was it because he was worried about Kang Ming? But it couldn't be. Even if he was worried before, it wasn't a problem now. Why did Lin Yi go to Han Jingjing's place first? Why did he hug her at night and not do anything? Was it because she wasn't proactive enough? Or was it because she wasn't attractive enough? Xinyan was in a dilemma. "Wait a minute, Xinyan sis. You come too," Han Jingjing said seriously. "We're just missing you now." Ah. Xinyan was in a dilemma when she heard Han Jingjing's words. She flinched a little. Han Jingjing wanted her to join? Wasn't that the three of them? Xinyan couldn't understand. How did the pure and innocent Jingjing become like this? Did she learn bad things? "I don't want to." "You guys continue?" Xinyan stuttered and wanted to escape. "Wait a minute. Xinyan sis, we're all done, we're just missing you," Han Jingjing said. "Although the process might be a little painful, it's also because you can be with Lin Yi bro forever. Don't you want to?" Xinyan's face was as red as a tomato, and her breathing was uneven. She took Han Jingjing's words as a hint. "Xinyan sis, come quickly. I'll be there if I grit my teeth," Han Jingjing called. "Then, okay." Xinyan was successfully bewitched by Han Jingjing. She closed the door and gritted her teeth. "I'll take off my clothes too?" And then Han Jingjing nodded and said, "Of course I have to take it off." "Then take it off." Xinyan gritted her teeth and quickly took off her clothes. She thought that Lin Yi had seen her naked during the military training, so what was wrong with taking it off now? She'd already decided to give it to Lin Yi, so what was there to hesitate about? Lin Yi, on the other hand, was dumbfounded. He didn't expect Xinyan to move so fast, but judging from her expression, she must have misunderstood something. Lin Yi didn't believe that Han Jingjing wouldn't be able to tell that this girl was doing it on purpose. "Xinyan, put on your clothes first, your situation is different from Jingjing's," Lin Yi said helplessly. Xinyan paused and her face paled. So Lin Yi didn't like her after all? Why else could Han Jingjing do it but she couldn't? Xinyan didn't care about her shyness anymore. She puffed up her chest and looked at Lin Yi. "If she can do it, so can I. Why can't I? She has the chance, so she's at Sky Class late phase peak, but you don't, so I can't do it for you. I'll have to wait until you have the chant as well before I can do it for you," Lin Yi explained. "Do it?" Xinyan froze as she stared at Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. "You guys, are you trying to increase your strength?" "Yeah, what else do you think we're doing, Xinyan sis?" Han Jingjing said innocently. "Then, why do you need to take off your clothes to do it?" Xinyan was confused. "It's very painful to level up after using the Qi gathering pill. You'll feel very hot and your clothes will burn to ashes." Han Jingjing said, "To save clothes, we take them off." Xinyan blushed as she subconsciously covered her chest. Why didn't you say so earlier?" Chapter 3480. "Stupid Jingjing, you're making fun of me." Xinyan reached out to hit Han Jingjing, only to expose herself again. She didn't care if she was exposed or not and sat on the bed. "Then, are you all Sky Class late phase peak full circle masters now?" "Yes." Lin Yi nodded. "Xinyan, I'm preparing to raise you to Sky Class late phase peak perfection as well. Many things have happened recently, let's put on our clothes first and talk?" Lin Yi felt a little awkward now. "Just wear a shirt, it's not like you haven't seen it before." Xinyan didn't care anymore and didn't think too much. "All right." Lin Yi and Han Jingjing put on their clothes as well. They were at home anyway, so they didn't feel like outsiders. With that, Lin Yi told Xinyan everything that happened recently, including Xiaoka and Armadillo as well as the inheritors. "You're saying that you're going to Sky Class Island with me and Jingjing?" Xinyan asked, shocked. "And Jingjing is my helper and I want to bring her along. I'm worried about your body, so I want to keep you by my side. Plus, I'm used to having you by my side, Linny nodded solemnly. And? Xinyan was happy that Linny said that. She was one of the most important people to him now. But after a while she still asked, then Lingshan, Sun Jingyi and Shirhan, aren't you going to bring them? Lingshan is the person in charge of the investigation department now. She'll be in charge of the Cultivators Association alliance here. Jingyi's arts and strength are different from ours, and I can't help her improve so she can't go. As for Shirhan, she's a celebrity, she has her own career. Linny said, plus it's not like we can't come back. It's over. We can come back and we can also bring them over. Also Wu Qintian's lackeys. I'm planning on bringing them over. Of course the premise was, I can stand firm on Heaven Stage Island. Although Linny could summon the wind and summon the rain in the secular world and sweep through the ancient sects, that was all. Heaven Island was full of unknowns, the weakest should be at the peak of the late phase of the Heaven rank. Even if Linny could fight those at a higher rank, he might not be able to handle them. Therefore Linny did not speak too slowly because everything was still unknown. As a result, Linny didn't speak too confidently. Everything was still unknown. It was only then that Xinyan realized that the day was getting closer and closer. Was everything about to end? Or a new beginning? I believe you can do it, Xinyan said firmly. On the train it was like a promise from their previous lives. Their first meeting was destined to be a lifelong love. Xinyan wasn't a sentimental person, but sometimes she had to believe in the wonders of fate. Bits and pieces of her memories with Lin Yi flooded her mind, and the first time she stayed in the villa appeared in front of her eyes. Shu carried her and kidnapped her to the villa. From that moment on, she was destined to be inseparable from Lin Yi, right? I'll ask Aunt Qing again and see if she has any ways to help you increase your strength. The Heaven Stage trial is right around the corner, and Heaven Stage Island is about to open. If you can't increase your strength, you won't have the right then. Lin Yi said as he called Aunt Qing. You've been quite famous recently. Aunt Qing is in the Ice Palace and I've heard a lot about you. Aunt Qing said with a smile on the other side of the phone. Oh, Aunt Qing, please don't make fun of me. You're a senior, you can say that you've watched me grow up step by step. Lin Yi was a junior in front of Aunt Qing. He would never forget the help Aunt Qing had given him back then. What you said back then was true. A hero shouldn't be afraid of a weak background. I'm afraid that the one who's struggling the most right now is Bingtang. Is she going to do what she promised you? Aunt Qing didn't think much of Lin Yi and Bingtang's relationship before. After all, no matter how much she liked Lin Yi was just an outsider, and Bingtang was the one she watched grow up with. But ever since she knew that Lin Yi was that person's descendant, Aunt Qing's attitude towards Lin Yi changed, and she treated him as her closest junior. It's just a line from a song. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Aunt Qing, the rock candy thing was just a joke back then and I didn't take it seriously. You can tell her that she doesn't need to worry about it. Lin Yi couldn't say that he didn't have any feelings for Bingtang. Conquering this kind of cold girl would give him a psychological satisfaction. But since she wasn't willing, Lin Yi couldn't force her. Besides, Lin Yi's mind was now on Heaven Stage Island, and he had temporarily put aside his personal feelings. When the Heaven Stage Island's matters were over, and he had nothing else to worry about, that was the time to talk about love. Lin Yi was still young and he had a lot of time. Plus, his girlfriends were all Heaven Stage masters, and their looks were forever preserved, and their lives were infinitely extended. The endless years ahead were the time for him to enjoy. Our Ice Palace is a place that keeps its promises. If we say something, we must do it, especially as the palace master. We can't go back on our words. Aunt Qing paused and said, let's not talk about this. Lil Yi, why did you call this time? It's still about the thing I told you about my friend Wang Xinyan. Have you found her practitioner's arts yet? Lin Yi asked. I did, but I haven't gotten it yet. Aunt Qing said, that practitioner's scripture is kept in the Ice Palace's treasury, and only Bingtang can open it right now. There's no one else who can. In the Ice Palace, Bingtang's words were absolute, unlike the other ancient sects where the Grand Elder was above everyone else. The Ice Palace was different, so Lin Yi could understand why Aunt Qing said this. Then didn't you tell Bingtang? Lin Yi asked. Chapter 3481. Oh. Lin Yi thought of something abruptly. Yes, the Ice Heart pill. This was a level 3 pill that Lin Yi couldn't make before, but now Lin Yi could do it easily. Lin Yi knew what to trade for the sugar. Alright, I'll go there in 2 days. Okay, Aunt Qing will wait for you. Aunt Qing nodded. After hanging up, Lin Yi told Xinyan and Han Jingjing he planned on going to the Ice Palace after the pill was made. Xinyan and Han Jingjing naturally were very supportive. Lin Yi kept his word, he was going to start making the pill right now. Lin Yi had 4 portions of the ingredients for the Ice Heart pill, all given to him by Right Coiling Tiger. He gave Lin Yi 12 portions of ingredients for a level 3 pill, 4 portions of Grand Recovery pills, 4 portions of Ice Heart pills, and 4 portions of Qi Gathering pills. The materials for the Qi Gathering pill had already been used by Lin Yi, and all that was left was the Grand Recovery pill and the Ice Heart pill. Lin Yi planned on making them all in one go. The Grand Recovery pill was very useful as well. It wasn't very useful to Lin Yi, but it was something that could save Han Jingjing and Xin Yan's lives. With the experience from last time, Lin Yi was very familiar with the process this time. Lin Yi followed the instructions and put in 4 portions of the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pills ingredients before pressing the confirm button. Beep beep. The tablet emitted 2 long and clear beeps, and then the tablet displayed, "Alchemy script has been generated. According to the automatic analysis of the weight in the medicine cauldron, 4 sets of ingredients have been put into this alchemy. The estimated time of alchemy is 2 hours and 52 minutes. Estimated number of pills produced is 5. Less than 3 hours wasn't a long time, but the number of pills produced on the cauldron disappointed Lin Yi a little. There were only 5 pills. He'd used 5 portions of Qi Gathering pills before, and he'd made 7 of them. Of course, the conditions of each pill were different, so the results of refining were also different. This was already better than the others, so Lin Yi only felt disappointed for a moment, and then he began to refine the pills. Lin Yi cleared his mind of distracting thoughts and sat cross-legged, circulating the art of dragon mastery. He quickly followed the instructions and infused the Jinqi in his body into the godly armament cauldron. The cauldron let out a crisp hum, and the tablet beside it also showed the words starting refinement, warming up. Beside it was a countdown timer. Unsurprisingly, with the last clear buzzing sound, the alchemy was finally over. As soon as the lid of the cauldron was opened, a rich medicinal fragrance along with a wave of cold air rushed out. Although it was hot air, it caused people to involuntarily shiver. This should be the special effect of the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill. It was truly an incomparably cold pill. Except for people with special constitutions, ordinary people really didn't have the luck to enjoy it. When the cold air dissipated, Lin Yi looked into the cauldron and saw that there were indeed 5 Ice Heart Jade Bone pills inside, and the quality was the same as the previous Qi Gathering pills. All of them were of the highest quality. Of course, 5 was already a lot. Previously, Rock Candy only asked for 1. After the successful refinement, Lin Yi didn't stop. Instead, he continued to prepare to refine the Great Recover pill. Similarly, he put in 4 portions of ingredients for the Great Recover pill, but what Lin Yi didn't expect was that the estimated number of pills produced on the screen was actually 6. There were also 4 portions, but there were 5 Ice Heart Jade Bone pills and 6 Great Recover pills. It was really a little magical. But think about it. These pill recipes might not be accurate when they were first made. They were all based on the alchemist's repeated experiments. Some recipes might have a little more than 1 portion and some might have a little less than 1. There was no difference if it was just 1 pill, but the difference would be obvious if they were made together. It was the same process as before, and after 3 hours of refinement, the Great Recover pill came out. This was Lin Yi's 3rd official refinement, and he didn't expect it to be this easy. It was all thanks to Han Jingjing's automatic alchemy cauldron. What kind of high-end thing is this? Why is it so advanced? Xin Yan couldn't help but ask after Lin Yi was done. This is Han Jingjing's invention, the automatic alchemy cauldron. It's very easy to make pills intelligently. Lin Yi explained. Actually, other than leveling up, Jing and I have been studying pill refinement. I see. Xin Yan's face was a little red. She was a little embarrassed for her impure thoughts. Lin Yi was here for serious business. He wasn't here for a secret affair with Han Jingjing like she was imagining. It wasn't right of her to think like that. She shouldn't make wild guesses in the future. Alright, since the pill is done, I'll be heading to the Ice Palace now. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time. Since the 5 Elements sect had sent out a notice for everyone to sign up, it meant that the Sky class test was right around the corner. Who knew when they'd gather everyone? Okay, Lin Yi bro, be careful. Han Jingjing said. Lin Yi, you can stay for a few more days. You haven't seen Xiao Xiao in a while. Xin Yan said. She wasn't familiar with Xiao Xiao and didn't even know her. Meng Yao and Yushu told her everything about Xiao Xiao, but she knew about the relationship between Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao. Okay, it's fine. We'll see each other after the test starts. Lin Yi didn't really mind. If he stayed for a few more days, the test would start right away, and Xin Yan wouldn't be able to qualify. This time, Lin Yi chose to ride the purple thunderbolt beast to the Ice Palace. One night, Lin Yi arrived at Snowfrost Town. Since Linny had just been here a while ago, he wasn't that impressed by the scenery. But Linny was still a Sky Class mid-phase back then, and now he was a Sky Class full mastery. The difference between now and now was really impressive. Thank you Coiling Tiger Right, thank you Kong Ming Ming, thank you Elder Xianxian. Ice Spirit Inn. Linny walked into the lobby of the inn, smiling as he greeted Shopkeeper Li, who was arranging letters. Shopkeeper Li, we meet again. Master Linny, you're here. Manager Li paused, not expecting Lin Yi to visit the Ice Palace again in such a short amount of time. Yeah, looks like you're not surprised this time, Lin Yi smiled. Chapter 3482. He could tell that Lin Yi was quite easygoing with the people from the Ice Palace. He wasn't as nervous as before. It's nothing, I'm here to find your Ice Palace girl, Rock Candy. I want to marry her. Lin Yi asked. Huh? Shopkeeper Li was stunned. What? Marry that Rock Candy chick? Shopkeeper Li didn't know what to say. Did Lin Yi and Rock Candy still have an engagement? At his level, he obviously didn't know the inside story, but Elderly didn't dare to ask. He could only say carefully, Hero Lin, that. I'll tell the Ice Palace master the truth. What do you mean? Lin Yi nodded. Although he was joking, he really wanted to kill Rock Candy's pride. With that in mind, Lin Yi turned to Shopkeeper Li and said faintly, Not bad, just tell her that. Okay. Shopkeeper Li nodded helplessly. He didn't have the right to argue with Lin Yi, so he could only follow Lin Yi's words and tell the truth. Anyway, even if Rock Candy blamed him, it would be Lin Yi's doing, it had nothing to do with him. Shopkeeper Li took out the satellite phone from the drawer and picked it up. Very quickly, Rock Candy's voice came from the other side. Shopkeeper Li, what's the matter? Palace Master Hero Lin Yi came to our Ice Spirit Inn. He said, he's here to marry you, what do you think? Shopkeeper Li asked carefully. Lin Yi? Marry me? Rock Candy suddenly felt embarrassed. Last time Lin Yi didn't mention this. She thought that Lin Yi would let it go, but she didn't expect that Lin Yi would come to the Ice Palace just to talk about this. This made Bingtang a little indignant, but she remembered that she had promised Lin Yi that when he had the strength of Heaven Stage Peak Late Stage or become a Mystic Stage First Level Alchemist, she would be his little mistress. Bingtang didn't know how to quibble. Ice Palace was a sect that kept its promises, but those were just Bingtang's words in anger. They didn't count. But now Lin Yi made a special trip here. What was she going to do about it? However, after hesitating for a moment, Rock Candy still said, What's his current strength? Are there any Great Perfection Heaven Rank Peak Late Phase? I'm not sure either. Shopkeeper Li blushed with shame, but he was able to instantly kill a Peak Late Stage Heaven Rank Master. It should be true. That's not necessarily the case. Lin Yi is an expert in fighting those who are stronger than him. I made a promise with him back then. When he has the strength of Heaven Rank Peak Late Stage or becomes a Mystic Stage First Level Alchemist, I'll be his wife. Above Heaven Rank Peak Late Stage, only Great Perfection or Heavenly Tao level, are you asking him? Bingtang didn't believe that Lin Yi was. Last time, Lin Yi only had the strength of Heaven Rank Middle Phase. She was glad that she was smart. Fortunately, she had set a limit on his strength level and didn't say that he could fight against any experts. This. Shopkeeper Li carefully looked at Lin Yi. He didn't dare to offend Bingtang, but he didn't dare to offend Lin Yi even more. This is really a trap. But Shopkeeper Li didn't dare to have any complaints. He could only smile bitterly at Lin Yi, wanting to say something but hesitating. It's about my strength, right? Lin Yi's eyes and ears were sharp. He was a Heaven-rank Great Perfection Master after all. If he couldn't hear the conversation between Shopkeeper Li and Bingtang, then he would be too weak. It's fine, I can verify it's true. As he said that, Lin Yi started chanting and revealed his Heaven-rank Peak Late Stage Peak Perfection strength. This powerful aura made Shopkeeper Li's legs cramp. Although Lin Yi didn't do anything to him, he still lowered his head subconsciously. He curled up and said to Bingtang with a trembling voice, Palace Master. Hero Lin, he really is a Heaven-rank Peak Late Stage Peak Perfection Master. What? Bingtang didn't believe that Lin Yi could actually break through Heaven-rank Peak in such a short time. How many days had it been? But she knew that Shopkeeper Li wouldn't lie to her. Shopkeeper Li was an old member of Ice Palace. How could he be in cahoots with Lin Yi? So Ice Palace hesitated. She was a little scared and retreated. Tell Lin Yi that I'm not feeling well and can't go. Let him stay in the inn now. This. Shopkeeper Li smiled bitterly and raised his head to look at Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi took his phone. Let me say it. Lin Yi didn't want to make things difficult for Shopkeeper Li, so he picked up the phone personally. Bingtang girl, why aren't you coming? Are you going to act shamelessly? I'm not feeling well. How is it? Bingtang snorted. There are times when a cultivator is feeling unwell? Even a heaven-rank master can get sick? Lin Yi asked curiously. Bingtong's face instantly turned red. Indeed, how could a heaven-rank master get sick? Her excuse was really... But Bingtang suddenly had an idea. She clenched her teeth and said to Lin Yi angrily, Heaven-rank master, I'm also a girl. Can't I feel unwell for a few days every month? That's fine. Lin Yi paused for a moment but teased, Alright then, I'm here to give you the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill. I'll come and get it after your aunt leaves. If it takes too long I'll go back first. I still have things to do. What? Ice Heart Jade Bone pill? Bingtang was shocked and said anxiously, You successfully made it? But I'll be leaving first. You should rest well. It's better for a girl to rest well at this time. Lin Yi said. Today is my last day. I'm almost done. Wait for me, I'll go over now. Bingtong's breathing quickened. She was really too excited. She had been looking forward to this pill for many years. But I'm only giving it to my little wife. Are you? Lin Yi asked with a smile. Bingtang clenched her teeth and said anxiously. Oh, alright then, I'll give it to you. I'll wait for you at the inn. We can consummate our marriage tonight. You've just finished so you can't get pregnant. Lin Yi said. You. Bingtang was so angry that she hung up. He immediately flew out of the training room and rushed down the mountain. Hee. Lin Yi smiled and shook his head. He didn't mind at all and returned the satellite phone to shopkeeper Li. Hero Lin, is the Ice Palace master coming? Then rest for a moment. Shopkeeper Li took the phone. Seeing that Lin Yi had settled it himself, he let out a sigh of relief. At least he didn't have to be in the middle. Chapter 3483. Alright, you don't have to care about me anymore. Lin Yi waved his hand. Go do what you need to do. Then Lin Yi walked out of the passenger station and waited for Crystal Candy. Shopkeeper Li nodded and began to busy himself with his own matters. Lin Yi didn't wait long before he saw Crystal Candy sprinting over. She didn't look like she was having her period at all. She was as agile as she could be. Crystal Candy saw Lin Yi smile from afar and was a bit pissed. She glared at him and reached out her hand saying fiercely, Where's my pill? You want to take it with just a promise? Lin Yi smiled faintly at Crystal Candy. What else do you want? I've been helping you take care of your girlfriend for so long. If it weren't for me she'd be dead. Crystal Candy had thought of an excuse before she came, planning to use Xiao Xiao to convince Lin Yi. That's your sister, it's what you should do, Lin Yi said. Sister? She's my junior sister. At that point, Crystal Candy realized that Lin Yi was teasing her, meaning that she was also Lin Yi's little Crystal Candy glared at Lin Yi. I'll do what I promised you. It's boring for me to be alone anyway and I need to find a partner in the future. Xiao Xiao and I get along quite well so you can take advantage of her when the time comes. But, you know about the inheritor thing, I have to maintain my virginity so... Virginity request, who asked for it? Lin Yi felt that this request was a bit weird. Before, Lin Yi's strength was too low to ask this question, and he didn't dare to, but with Lin Yi's current strength, he had nothing to worry about. Of course it's the 5 Elements sect. Crystal Candy said, Elder Xianxin requested it. If he doesn't maintain it, what will he do? Lin Yi said. Once upon a time, Patriarch Xianxin was an existence that Lin Yi looked up to, but now, even if Lin Yi stood in front of him, he would still maintain his composure. Patriarch Xianxin might not even be as powerful as him. If you don't maintain it? Rock Candy was slightly stunned. In the past, she had always listened to the 5 Elements sect. Even though she was so powerful, she had never questioned the things that everyone knew. It wasn't that he didn't want to question it. Instead, she felt that the 5 Elements sect was the strongest existence in the world, and that even the Ice Palace's palace master would not be able to contend against it. Whatever the 5 Elements sect said was the truth. But now. However, Lin Yi said that if he didn't maintain it, what would he do? Yes, if he didn't maintain it, what could Patriarch Xianxin do? In the past, no one dared to question it. But now, such a person had appeared. He looked at Lin Yi. Suddenly, Crystal Candy was a little dazed. This thin figure suddenly became tall and straight. Once upon a time, when he was in the Ice Palace and carried Xiao Xiao on his back, Crystal Candy had never put him in her eyes. Even the joke of the little mistress was just a joke. It was just a joke, but now, Crystal Candy suddenly realized that Lin Yi had become a part of the ancient level. The only existence that could contend against Patriarch Xianxin. Sometimes, one's impression of a person would change in an instant. It was the same for Bingtang now. She suddenly realized that Lin Yi wasn't that despicable after all. Instead, he was very heroic. This was the spirit a practitioner should have. In the past, everyone said so, and I heard that only by maintaining one's virginity can one open the heavenly island. Apart from that, there is no other way. Crystal Candy said, I told you the specifics before. I'm not sure either. 5 Elements sect won't tell me. However, if you insist on having something with me before this, then you better not have anything with Xiao Xiao. After all, this is a big event in the ancient level. I don't want you to destroy this matter because of your selfish desires, although you have the strength to contend against Patriarch Xianxin. Lin Yi was slightly stunned. What did Crystal Candy mean? Actually, Crystal Candy was a little surprised when she said this because she realized that she didn't hate Lin Yi anymore. On the contrary, she was happy that she could find a partner like Lin Yi. Thinking about it carefully, Crystal Candy didn't know many male cultivators. They were either sect masters or young sect masters. However, these people were very scheming. Crystal Candy didn't like them either. On the contrary, she realized that Lin Yi wasn't that hateful along the way. Looking at the problem from another angle, she realized that fulfilling that promise wasn't that much of a conflict. However, to say that she fell in love with Lin Yi, Crystal Candy didn't think that she had it yet. She just didn't reject it, that was all. However, Crystal Candy's thoughts were very conservative. Wasn't the marriage in the ancient times a promise? The man and woman didn't know each other much? At least, she was quite satisfied with Lin Yi's current strength. Nothing, I'm just saying that if you want it, forget it if you don't. Crystal Candy said, since Ice Palace has Xiao Xiao as an inheritor, she will get a fixed position as a sect master. The sect master or grand elder can participate in the Heavenly Island Conference. So, it doesn't matter if I'm an inheritor or not? Oh? In other words, as long as there is an inheritor, the sect master or grand elder can participate in the Heavenly Island Conference. Lin Yi thought of something and asked. Yes, but there is a condition. It must be a master with the strength of the peak late stage of Heaven Realm. Crystal Candy said, I feel that I'm about to break through. Oh? There is such a restriction. Lin Yi nodded after hearing it and said, do you need me to help you refine a qi gathering pill so that you can advance after eating it? Actually, what Lin Yi thought before was that if every inheritor's sect had a fixed quota for promotion, then wouldn't Boss Bai also have it? Boss Bai, as the other sect master of 5 Elements sect, was definitely not strong enough, so he couldn't participate. However, if he passed the position of sect master to Yang Ming, then it would be fine. Therefore, there was still a loophole in this. If Yang Ming didn't have the entrance ticket of the map fragment, he could still find a way to participate. However, if Xianxin Ancestor added the restriction of being the sect master for more than a year, it wouldn't work. This guy was targeting Lin Yi, so Lin Yi couldn't do anything. Of course, Lin Yi could use force, but Lin Yi's purpose was to go to Heavenly Island. If they really broke up, it wouldn't be good for him to get in the way. You eat the qi gathering pill? Crystal Candy was slightly stunned. She looked at Lin Yi and asked, I heard that you were searching for materials to refine the qi gathering pill a while ago. So it was for this? Chapter 3484. And how else do you think I leveled up? A few days ago, I was still in the middle stage of Heaven stage, and in just a few days, I'm at the peak of the late stage of Heaven stage, great perfection. Lin Yi didn't hide it and said it directly. There was no need to hide anything. I remember telling you a long time ago that although you can keep leveling up by eating qi gathering pills, you can eat them all the way to the peak of the late stage of Heaven rank. However, you won't be able to reach the true peak of Heaven rank by eating qi gathering pills. Rock Candy said, these two great perfection have some essential differences. You may not be able to advance to Heaven Dao in your lifetime. You heard this too, right? Who said that taking qi gathering pill can't advance to Heaven Dao? Moreover, when I was in Earth stage, I took qi gathering pill and leveled up all the way. I also relied on myself to level up naturally without taking the pill. Didn't I also level up? Lin Yi asked, besides, who has broken through Heaven Dao? Who knows how to break through? Since no one knows, what's the point of rumors? Maybe even if we go to Heaven Rank Island, we won't be able to break through immediately. Heaven Rank Island is just a level higher than the ancient level. There might be people in the Dao of Heaven there, but even if we go there, we might not be able to break through smoothly. This. Rock Candy was speechless by Lin Yi. Thinking about what Lin Yi said, it was not unreasonable. Yes, Heaven Dao no one has broken through. Taking chi gathering pill can't break through according to the normal logic, but Linny broke this logic again. Rock Candy didn't think that Linny was lying. After all, Linny wasn't a third-grade alchemist before. How could he have so many chi gathering pills? He must have broken through naturally. That would break the curse of not being able to advance after taking chi gathering pill. So, at this moment she was a little moved. Although she had already touched the barrier of the Great Perfection realm, it was only a touch. If she wanted to break through, it would be impossible without a fortuitous encounter. Some people might be stuck here for a lifetime. With Lin Yi's situation as a reference, Rock Candy was silent along the way. After a while she said, "I'll take the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill first. If I successfully obtain the inheritance, then there won't be any obstacles for me to level up. I'll be able to break through on my own, all right." Linny didn't insist. After all, not everyone thought the same as him. It was difficult for Rock Candy to change her deep-rooted thoughts. Moreover, Linny had the space of the jade pendant, but Rock Candy didn't. If something really happened to Rock Candy, she wouldn't be able to level up. Then Linny would have committed a grave sin. "I'm going to take it?" Rock Candy turned to look at Linny. "Okay, here you go." Linny took out a box from his bosom and handed it to Rock Candy. Then he said, "It's here. You don't have to save it. If you don't comprehend the inheritance, just eat another one. Until you comprehend it." Rock Candy was slightly stunned. "If you don't have one, you will eat another one? Do you think you have a lot of medicinal pills? Even if you are a level 3 alchemist, you can't say you have a 100% success rate, right? From what I know, the difficulty of refining the Ice Heart Jade pill is even higher than the Chi Gathering pill. More or less." Linny thought. Not 100%, but 125%. With Han Jingjing's modified cauldron, Lin Yi could refine the Ice Heart Jade pill with 125% success rate. One set of ingredients would produce 125 portions. Rock Candy was a little surprised, but she didn't doubt it. "You refine too? I should leave one for the descendants of the Ice Palace. I shouldn't be so selfish. I am the Palace Master of the Ice Palace. I have to do something for the Ice Palace. The future Palace Master might need it too. Take a look first." Linny pointed at the box and said. Rock Candy opened the small box in her hands and was instantly stunned. Inside the box there were 5 Ice Heart Jade pills. Not only that, this Ice Heart Jade Bone pill was also a high-quality pill. On the surface of each pill, there were actually circles of pill halo. Rock Candy was the Palace Master of the Ice Palace. She was very knowledgeable and naturally knew what this meant. Even if it was the same type of medicinal pill, there was a world of difference between those with pill halo and those without pill halo. Pill halo meant that it was the best of this kind of dan. Its effect was far from what ordinary goods could compare to. This was a rare item that could only be encountered by chance. Even the most powerful alchemist could not guarantee that every dan could be refined into a pill halo. But Linny did it. Every single one of these 5 elixirs were of the same quality. They were all of the highest quality. This made Rock Candy look at the medicinal pills in her hands in shock. After a while, she raised her head and looked at Linny in shock. "Your alchemy level is so high? You can actually refine 5 of them. You have so many ingredients for the Ice Heart Jade pill?" "And the Hidden Yu family gave me 4 portions. I collected one myself." Linny didn't tell the truth. After all, Rock Candy only said that she would be his little wife. She didn't take it for real. Linny still couldn't open his heart to her. 5 portions? Can you really achieve a 100% success rate? Your alchemy level has already surpassed the 3rd level? Rock Candy's eyes widened. Her face flushed red. "You can't have really reached the 1st level of the mystic class? I haven't tested it yet. Who knows?" Linny shrugged. However, with Han Jingjing's cauldron, refining higher-level medicinal pills shouldn't be a problem. "Alright, you've met my requirements. I agree to what I said before. I mean it." Rock Candy sighed and said lightly, "Let's take it one step at a time. I didn't want to force you. I just saw that you're too arrogant, so I was joking with you." Linny smiled. "Alright, go take it. Right, does the Ice Palace still have the ingredients for the Ice Heart Jade pill? Since you feel that you should leave some for your descendants, I'll refine them all for you." "Yes, it's in the Ice Palace's treasury. I'll take you there. You can make it yourself. There should be enough for 3 to 4 portions." Rock Candy said. "That's great. I still have some that I collected myself. They aren't complete. Let's see if I can make a few more portions." Linny was afraid that there would be a few more pills after he finished refining, so he said that he still had a few portions of incomplete ingredients. This way Rock Candy wouldn't suspect anything. However, he was afraid that rock candy would ask him what the remaining ingredients were missing. Thus, Lin Yi didn't wait for her to speak and said, "You're letting me into the treasury? Isn't it only the master of the ice palace who can enter?" Chapter 3485. However, she was the only one who knew what her true thoughts were. Haha, alright, I'll concoct the pill inside and see what else the ice palace has. Lin Yi didn't think that Bingtang would ask him to go to the treasury without him even asking to see the manual. Wasn't this change a little too big? Go ahead. In Bingtang's heart, nothing was more important than the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill. Since Lin Yi wanted to concoct a few more for the Ice Palace, then the Ice Palace would pay any price. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Things were going too smoothly and he felt like there was no challenge. The two came to the entrance of the treasury, and Bingtang opened the door for Lin Yi to enter. She thought about it and said, "I'll ask Xiao Xiao to come with you. I'm going to take the pill." "Okay." Lin Yi nodded. He did miss Xiao Xiao, but Bingtang didn't bring it up, so he didn't ask. Lin Yi found the ingredients for the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill in the treasury, and he could gather 4 portions. In other words, he could still make 5 pills. But Lin Yi didn't divide the ingredients so finely. He put 4 portions of ingredients into the cauldron. As expected, after pressing the confirm button, the tablet made 2 clear beeps, and Lin Yi saw the tablet display, concoction script generated. Based on the weight of the cauldron, this concoction will take 6 portions of ingredients. Estimated concoction time is 3 hours and 29 minutes. Please prepare your qi beforehand. Estimated number of pills will be 6. 6 pills. 6 pills from 6 portions to less than 5. This was pretty good, but Lin Yi realized that the quality and quantity of ingredients were different, and the concoction time was different as well. Lin Yi sat cross-legged and started concocting. Not long later, the door to the treasury opened. The door was opened and Xiao Xiao's excited voice sounded. "Lin Yi, honey. Xiao Xiao, I'm refining pills. You can play by yourself for a while." Only Lin Yi could speak when he infused his true qi into the pill. If it were anyone else, they would have failed the alchemy. Xiao Xiao jumped in fright. He immediately shut up and stuck out his tongue. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's okay, we can talk," Lin Yi said with a smile. What kind of cauldron is this? It's so advanced and it even has an LCD? Xiao Xiao knew that Lin Yi wouldn't lie to her. However, when he saw the cauldron in Lin Yi's hand, he immediately felt that it was very magical. "This is Han Jingjing's modified cauldron," Lin Yi told Xiao Xiao about Han Jingjing. "So, the medicinal cauldrons you sell are all modified by her. Then she is really a powerful person. Xiao Xiao really wanted to meet her in the future. I really admire her," Xiao Xiao said from the bottom of her heart. "She can be Lin Yi Honey's helper, but Xiao Xiao can't. I really envy her." "Xiao Xiao, don't say that. You have your mission. Your mission is to open the Sky-class island. This is something you can't do without." Lin Yi said to her, "I want to go to the Sky-class island too. And I have to." "Oh? Lin Yi Honey, you want to ascend to Sky Dao too?" Xiao Xiao was a little surprised. She knew that Lin Yi had a negative attitude towards this before. She didn't think that he would want to go today. "Because I have my reasons. One is because of you. Of the 7 heirs, other than that elder Tang from Snowy Valley, I don't have much contact with them. The others are pretty much the closest people to me. How could I not go?" Lin Yi smiled bitterly. "Plus, I have other reasons." "Ah." Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. 7. 6. The rest is Tang Yun, sis. Xiao Xiao didn't say it. It seemed that Lin Yi didn't remember about Tang Yun yet. Naturally, she wouldn't say it out loud. "Oh my god, Lin Yi honey, you're so amazing. You even took over the heirs." "It's just a coincidence," Lin Yi said that, but he was a little doubtful. Was it really a coincidence? Lin Yi told Xiao Xiao about Yu Xiaoka and Armadillo, as well as what happened to him recently. The elixir was also successfully refined. Once it was out of the cauldron, the aroma filled the air. 6 Ice Heart Jade pills lay quietly in the cauldron. "Oh my god, 6 pills at once?" Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. She didn't know how to make pills, but she'd heard of it before. She'd never seen a refiner who could make Lu Mei's Ice Heart Jade Bone pill in one go. "Yeah, this is all thanks to Han Jingjing," Lin Yi smiled. "You can make pills with this cauldron. But you have to keep it a secret." "Yeah. Xiao Xiao of course will keep it a secret. I'm not any worse than Shu." Xiao Xiao nodded. Lin Yi felt a little sad at the mention of Yushu. Everyone had left, but they'd meet again soon, right? Thinking of the reunion in the near future, Lin Yi's mood brightened up again. Lin Yi told her about Wang Xinyan, and naturally Xiao Xiao was surprised by her physique. She started looking for manuals for Lin Yi as well. I remember that the manuals are all on that shelf. Senior Sister Rock Candy brought me here a couple of times, and I've looked for the arts here before. Xiao Xiao pointed at the last shelf. Oh, here? Lin Yi suddenly remembered when he got here. What was the name of this manual? There were so many manuals here, how was he supposed to know what the senior from the Ice Palace practiced? And so Lin Yi paused. Xiao Xiao, I forgot to ask Aunt Qing what it's called. Don't worry, I'll go ask for you. Xiao Xiao was about to leave the treasury when she heard the door creak. It was Crystal Candy. She'd come back. The appearance of the rock candy surprised Lin Yi. Did she finish eating it already? Lin Yi, on the other hand, wasn't doing any pill making. Instead, he was walking around with Xiao Xiao in front of the bookshelves, which surprised Rock Candy as well. Was Lin Yi done? Or hadn't he started? What? You finished the pill? Rock Candy looked at Lin Yi, surprised. Yeah, you finished too? Lin Yi looked at Rock Candy, surprised. That fast? Yeah, that fast. I'm done. What about you? Rock Candy gently nodded, and then revealed her strength at the peak of the late peak of heaven rank, as if to prove her words, and then asked back. Chapter 3486. Lin Yi didn't think that Bing Tang would break through in such a short time. This meant that she had successfully comprehended the inheritance, and she had touched the barrier of perfect mastery, so she broke through on her own as soon as the inheritance was completed. Bing Tang, on the other hand, was even more shocked when she saw the 6 pills in Lin Yi's hands. She had wanted to show off to him how strong she was, breaking through to the same level as him in such a short time. She had caught up to him. But when she saw the 6 pills in Lin Yi's hands, Bing Tang felt defeated. This Lin Yi was a monster. He made 6 pills in such a short time. What kind of speed was this? Wah wah wah. Senior Bing Tang, Lin Yi, honey, you guys are so in sync, huh? Don't tell me there's something going on? Xiao Xiao's eyes widened. Yeah, if I come back from Sky Class Island, I'll have to thank Xiao Xiao sis for taking care of me. Bing Tang was a straightforward person, and although she blushed when she said it, she still said what she wanted to say. It can't be, right? Lin Yi, honey, you've already taken Senior Bing Tang's little sister? Xiao Xiao cried out excitedly. Senior Bing Tang's little sister? What kind of title was that? Bing Tang was speechless, but this was indeed a mess. Let's not talk about this. Lin Yi, how did you make pills so fast? You didn't do it on purpose, did you? You want me to worship you? Bing Tang couldn't believe it. It was fine if the pill was fast but the success rate was low, but Lin Yi was not only fast, but his success rate was also incomparably high. This was really strange. Senior Bing Tang, Lin Yi, honey, doesn't need to lie to you. I saw him do it with my own eyes, and there's still heat and fragrance from the process. With that, Xiao Xiao pointed at the place where Lin Yi did it. Rock Candy was a heaven stage expert. How sharp was her 6th sense? She didn't notice it before. She was shocked by Lin Yi as soon as she entered the door, so she ignored these small details. Now that she carefully examined it, it was indeed so. Plus, she didn't think that Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao would lie to her about something like this. However, she still said, Lin Yi, I have some ingredients for the Great Recover pill. Can you help me refine it too? Xiao Xiao and I, 2 girls, are going to participate in the heaven rank trial. It's so dangerous. What if something goes wrong? At that time, you will be the one who will feel sorry for him. Why don't you work a little harder and help me refine it? Are you testing me? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Tell me, how many do you want to refine? I have 10 sets of materials. You just need to refine 8 pills for me. After Rock Candy finished speaking, she also felt that it was a little funny. If it was any other alchemist, being able to refine 5 pills was already very impressive. Lin Yi had made 8 pills, and that was already a small number. All right, I'll make 10 for you, Lin Yi said. Do you want to start now? Why don't you and Xiao Xiao wait for me outside? What? Xiao Xiao can watch you refine pills and I'm affecting you? Rock Candy was a little unhappy. She accepted Lin Yi in her heart, so she treated Lin Yi as one of her own. And Lin Yi still had to be on guard against her. This made her very unhappy. After all, she thought it was him. Lin Yi was afraid that she would ambush him during the process, but how was that possible? Not to mention the fact that she and Lin Yi had this little mistress relationship. Even if they didn't, she wouldn't do something that ungrateful. No. Lin Yi didn't expect Rock Candy to have such a big reaction. He was silent for a while. Lin Yi looked at Rock Candy and asked, Are you serious? Then what do you think? Rock Candy stared at Lin Yi. If you don't believe me, then you can hug me. Rock Candy lived in the Ice Palace since she was young. In her heart, hugging a stranger was already a very intimate action. That's why she said that. Okay, let's be together, let's hug. Xiao Xiao shouted. Linny didn't know what to say. But seeing Rock Candy close her eyes and stand there motionlessly, her eyelashes trembling, obviously nervous, Linny hesitated. Should he hug her or not? If he didn't, would Rock Candy be unhappy? Was she unhappy just now? With that thought, Linny walked over and hugged Rock Candy gently. Rock Candy's body softened and fell into Linny's arms, her breathing uneven. Evidently, she had never experienced something like this before. Maybe it was because she was aroused, but Rock Candy's body emitted a cold aura. Only someone like Linny, with his 5 elements and 7 elements, could handle it. Other people probably wouldn't be able to handle it. The more aroused she was, the colder it got. If they were in bed, wouldn't they be frozen into a popsicle? You're here? At that moment, Aunt Qing's voice came from the entrance of the vault. She had received news that Linny was here, but she had something to do at the time, so she asked Xiao Xiao to go first. She rushed over when she was done, and the first thing she saw was Linny hugging Rock Candy, as intimate as they could be. Aunt Qing paused, and Bingtang reacted as well when she heard Aunt Qing's voice. She wanted to get out of Lin Yi's arms subconsciously, but after thinking about it, she realized that it wasn't a big deal. She was an authoritative figure in the Ice Palace, and she could do whatever she wanted. So Rock Candy opened her eyes and smiled at Aunt Qing, a little embarrassed. The 2 dimples on her cheeks made people feel that she was very happy right now. Fine, I'm just walking around. I'll go back first, you guys continue? Aunt Qing smiled and shook her head. She really didn't have enough brain power. Weren't Rock Candy and Linny enemies? Why were they hugging each other secretly? She really couldn't understand the world of the young. She was old, Aunt Qing came and left quickly, and Rock Candy was a little shy. She pushed Linny. Hey, you make the pill first. Okay. At this moment, Linny completely believed Bingtang. This little girl really dared to love and hate. Linny was a little surprised. Xiao Xiao then closed the door of the hidden treasure house. But I think Aunt Qing must have told the other disciples, so no one dares to come near here. But it's still good to be on guard. Okay. Xiao Xiao nodded and went to close the door. Lin Yi, on the other hand, took out the automatic pesticide cauldron Han Jingjing gave him and placed it in front of him. What's this? Looks weird. Rock Candy looked at the thing Linny took out. Chapter 3487. No, it's too expensive. I was going to send Xiao Xiao to get one from you, but now I'm getting one from you. Give it to me. Crystal Candy extended her hand. Haha, but it's fine. If you need anything, just come to me, Linny smiled. That's true. Crystal Candy looked at Lin Yi's elixir-making godly item, curiously. This thing, it can make elixirs automatically? No wonder your success rate is so high and so fast. You have good stuff on you. It's all right, Linny nodded. But this isn't for sale. There's only one and I have it. No wonder. But it's right to keep good stuff for yourself, Crystal Candy nodded. Then you can start now. Do you need my and Xiao Xiao's help? No need for that. Linny waved his hand and opened the cauldron. Just give me the ingredients. Okay. Crystal Candy took out the ingredients for the Great Recovery Pill and gave it to Lin Yi. She had already prepared it and was going to find someone else to make it, but her relationship with the Sky Elixir sect wasn't good, so she just left it here. Lin Yi took out 4 sets of ingredients and after some hesitation he took out 5. According to the cauldron's capacity, it could hold 5 sets of ingredients at once. But Lin Yi still wanted to see if it was 4 or 5 sets of ingredients that would maximize the profits. Lin Yi turned on the Shin Nong automatic cauldron, and on the LCD screen, a welcome screen appeared. It was Han Jingjing's smiling face and below it was a line of words. Jingjing made the elixir-making system V1. 0 for Lin Yi bro. Xiao Xiao and Crystal Candy were surprised to see this welcome screen. Who is this Han Jingjing? Why is she so good? Did she invent all these cauldrons? Crystal Candy asked curiously. She's Lin Yi Honey's other mistress. I don't know if she's ranked before or after you, but she's definitely ranked after me. Xiao Xiao explained. Bingtang nodded her head. Her thoughts had always been to continue the ancient rules, so she didn't really care about how many wives Lin Yi had. Everyone was a heaven stage cultivator, and their lifespans were unlimited. She didn't care about these details at all. On the contrary, Lin Yi had so many people around him who could help him. Rock Candy was also very happy. Then she is really powerful. After Lin Yi entered the cauldron's menu, he chose the 3rd grade medicinal pill, Great Cyclic Pill. After he clicked confirm, a line of words appeared on the screen. Please wait a moment. Jingjing is currently generating the Great Recover Pill refining script for Big Brother Lin Yi. After some careful calculations, I realized that putting in 5 portions of materials each time would give me the greatest profit. Sure enough, there were 5 portions. Because there were only 4 portions last time, Lin Yi didn't pay much attention to this notification, but he had a vague impression of it. With that thought, Lin Yi put 5 portions of great cyclic pills materials into the cauldron. He was ready to put in his qi and start refining. When Lin Yi put in the materials and Crystal Candy saw the notification on the screen, she was even more shocked. Refining script has been generated. According to the weight in the cauldron, 5 portions of materials will be put in. Estimated time of refining is 3 hours and 50 minutes. Please prepare your qi in advance. Estimated number of pills produced is 8. 5 portions of materials could produce 8 qi gathering pills? How was that possible? But Lin Yi didn't question the notification on the screen, so Crystal Candy continued to watch. After 4 hours, when Lin Yi finished refining and opened the cauldron, there really were 8 qi gathering pills inside. But Crystal Candy's first reaction wasn't shock. She glared at Lin Yi. You just told me that you still have the materials for Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill, but you don't. You're just afraid that I'll get suspicious if you make too many, so you lied to me, right? Lin Yi didn't think that Crystal Candy would think of something like that. He smiled bitterly. This ice girl was quite vengeful. Xiao Chen looked at Crystal Candy helplessly. I didn't hug you before, did I? Then don't lie to me in the future. I want to know what Xiao Xiao knows. You and her, didn't you just hug? Crystal Candy said. Lin Yi honey touched my chest. Xiao Xiao interrupted. Ahem. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I didn't mean it, no way. You did it on purpose at the auction, but you didn't mean it in the car. Xiao Xiao said. You touch it too. Crystal Candy didn't listen to Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi's argument. She puffed out her chest and said, not wanting to be left behind. Oh, let's get down to business. Lin Yi didn't know what to do. Crystal Candy really was. Once she decided on something, she'd let it go. Coward. Crystal Candy humphed. You're brave enough to kill Elder Xuanshen's disciple, but you're so cowardly when it comes to me. Lin Yi took a deep breath and pounced at Crystal Candy. Rock Candy was startled. Go Lin Yi honey? Xiao Xiao waved her hands. It was 2 at first, but it became 3 and Xiao Xiao joined in as well. In the end, everyone's clothes were all messed up. All 3 of them were top sky class masters, but this kind of fighting didn't just use up energy, it used up energy as well. It didn't take long before they were tired. Crystal Candy glared at Lin Yi as she laid on the ground. I've never been this crazy in my entire life. I told you to touch here, why did you touch other places? Xiao Xiao touched it. Lin Yi said innocently. Bullshit, it's your hand. Crystal Candy raged. Xiao Xiao was holding my arm. Lin Yi explained. Xiao Xiao on the other hand couldn't stop giggling on the side. When the 3 of them had rested enough, Lin Yi spoke up. Bing Tang, do you know that the Ice Palace has an art that's suitable for people with spongy bodies? The person Aunt Qing mentioned before, is it your friend? Rock Candy suddenly thought of something and said, is it Wang Xinyan who you carried last time? Yeah, that's her. Lin Yi nodded. Was she before or after me? Crystal Candy asked suddenly. Before. Lin Yi paused and smiled bitterly. But when I came to Songshan, she was the first person I met on the train. I'm just asking, nothing else. Crystal Candy said calmly. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how to address her when we meet again. Chapter 3488. I'll get it for you. Bing Tang stood up and tidied up her clothes. She walked to a nearby bookshelf and found a book. This is the one. But I don't know if she can practice it. She needs the pure qi from the sky and earth. Bing Tang said. Bing Tang didn't know what to say. How did that senior from the Ice Palace practice? Lin Yi asked after some thought. At that time the qi wasn't this thin. She went to Sky Class Island after that, and I think it was the Ice Grandmaster who came back to borrow her. I'm not too sure about the specifics, it's just a legend. Crystal Candy said. So you're saying that the Ice Grandmaster has reached the peak of perfection? She can bring people to Sky Class Island directly? Lin Yi was a bit surprised. It wasn't that hard to get to Sky Class Island, but it required so many inheritors to activate it at the same time. The difficulty was obvious. But the Ice Grandmaster was able to travel between Sky Class Island and the common world. She really was a powerful person. Wait. Back then Lin Yi found that the Shinnong Cauldron replica was taken away from Zhang Liju's tomb. Could it be that Zhang Liju came back to take it himself? If his wife could do that, then Zhang Liju, who was even more powerful, would be able to do it as well. That meant that Zhang Liju's strength, was at a level that Lin Yi couldn't even imagine. The Ice Grandmaster's strength must be very powerful, but I don't know if she can go to Sky Class Island directly. Perhaps the Snow Valley's Grandmaster Shui and Master Zhang Liju couldn't travel back and forth. Master Zhang Liju has a few inheritor wives just like you, so he went back and forth. Crystal Candy's words made sense in the beginning, but the latter part made Lin Yi laugh. Crystal Candy's sudden words made Lin Yi not know whether to laugh or cry. She might be jealous, but that wasn't entirely true. Crystal Candy didn't have that kind of resentment in her words, and it felt like a normal conversation. Lin Yi couldn't understand her personality at all. Alright, I'll go back and test it, but I have a lot of energy stones, so it should be replaceable. I'll let her use them to train. That should work too, right? Lin Yi actually wanted to increase Xin Yan's strength straight away. His strength was limitless and he could get as much as she wanted. He didn't need to worry about Xin Yan's spongy body at all. Even if she lost some every day, Lin Yi would be able to make up for it. And then go back quickly. The Heaven Stage trial might be just around the corner. Rock Candy said, when the time comes, we'll meet again in the trial. Alright, after I finish refining the rest of the Recover pill, I will bid farewell to Aunt Qing. Lin Yi realized that Crystal Candy was very decisive when she did things, even if she was very happy with Lin Yi today. But he wouldn't linger either. He just wanted Lin Yi to get down to business. Honey Lin Yi, you're leaving again. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was a little reluctant. And I'll leave after seeing Aunt Qing and you Bing, Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi finished the rest of the pills, and Crystal Candy and Xiao Xiao accompanied Lin Yi to see Aunt Qing. Candy, you and Lin Yi are together? Aunt Qing saw Crystal Candy. She asked mischievously. And? Crystal Candy didn't feel embarrassed and only nodded. Aunt Qing, didn't you always say that he's a good person? But I think he's a good person. Yeah, I'm happy that you can be with Lin Yi, Aunt Qing said with satisfaction. This is a good home for you. Aunt Qing, I didn't have time to tell you, but my inheritance was successful. The moment I succeeded, I leveled up to Sky Class Late Phase Peak. I'll go with Xiao Xiao to the Sky Class trial. As for the Ice Palace, Crystal Candy was worried that she and Xiao Xiao would leave. There would be a gap in the Ice Palace. Without a master, they'd be bullied by other sections. Aunt Qing will stay here, Aunt Qing smiled. Aunt Qing's strength isn't high, but I'll protect the Ice Palace with my life. Right, Crystal Candy? Does the Ice Palace still have the materials for the Qi Gathering pill? Lin Yi thought about it and asked. Aunt Qing was now at the peak of the middle phase of Sky Class. Compared to the first time she met Lin Yi, her strength had increased by a small level. Now she would only need 4 Qi Gathering pills to reach the level of perfection. You're saying that you want to concoct pills for Aunt Qing and help her break through? Crystal Candy paused and understood what Lin Yi meant. That's right, I can ignore the other sects, but I can't ignore the Ice Palace. You and Xiao Xiao are gone, but my friends Yu Bing and Zhao Qijiu are here. Nothing can happen to them. Lin Yi nodded. But after taking the Qi Gathering pill, Aunt Qing might not be able to reach Sky Dao for the rest of her life. Crystal Candy hesitated. Ice Palace Master, protecting the Ice Palace is the biggest wish of my life. I've never thought about breaking through to Sky Dao. As long as I can reach Sky Dao, my life will be extended endlessly, and I'll be able to protect this Ice Palace for a while. Aunt Qing said nonchalantly. Crystal Candy, actually, it's not impossible to break through to Sky Dao with the Qi Gathering pill. Lin Yi waved his hand. I wasn't familiar with you before, so I didn't tell you in detail. Now be it you, Xiao Xiao or Aunt Qing, you're all people I trust. I won't hide it from you. Crystal Candy raised her head to look at Lin Yi. Actually, I don't know if you know that I'm Zhang Liju's heir or not, but I got his refinement manuals from his tomb, so I'm his disciple. Also, I found a method he left behind in the tomb that allows one to use pills to reach Sky Dao. Lin Yi said this because Xiao Xiao and Bing Tang were the closest people to him, and Aunt Qing on the other hand was like family to him. She had always been helping him, and so Lin Yi didn't hide anything from them. He left behind a method to make pills called Sky Dao Golden Pill. Lin Yi didn't hide anything from them. He didn't want to hide anything from them. He left behind a method to make pills called Sky Dao Golden Pill. Sky Dao Golden Pill? You're saying that consuming this Sky Dao Golden Pill will allow one to break through to Sky Dao? Crystal Candy paused, a little surprised. She'd never heard of such a magical thing, but before seeing Lin Yi's pill making, she didn't even know about this automatic pesticide cauldron. Chapter 3489. Ah, that's great. If there were other ways to level up, Aunt Qing would be fine. Bing Tang calmed down and glared at Lin Yi. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I was worried about you. I haven't hugged her yet. Lin Yi smiled. Bing Tang glared at Lin Yi. Then go check up on Yu Bing and make the qi gathering pill, then go find the recipe. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Yu Bing was doing very well in the Ice Palace. He could take a leave and go back to the hidden house. He was a small leader here, and he was promoted from the outer sect manager to the vice deacon of the Ice Palace. Above the deacon was the elder. Yu Bing wasn't strong enough right now, but once he was strong enough, he'd be promoted to a deacon. There weren't any male disciples in the Ice Palace before, but that didn't mean there wouldn't be any in the future. Yu Bing had his relationship with Lin Yi and he was doing quite well himself, so he was promoted very quickly. Boss, you came to see me? Yu Bing was very happy to see Lin Yi. I contacted my family, and they found out that my sister is the inheritor and has left already. I hope that you can take care of her, boss. In the future Sky Class test. My strength is definitely not enough, but I'll stay in the common world and help you guard the Ice Palace. Okay, I understand, but I'll first increase your and Qijio strength, and then you'll use a Qi gathering pill to reach Sky Class early phase and help Aunt Qing guard the Ice Palace. As for the rest, we'll talk about it when I come back. Lin Yi said to Yu Bing. He had already planned it out. Yu Bing might not be able to increase his strength after using the Qi gathering pill, but Lin Yi would give them a few energy stones each for them to train with. When Lin Yi came back or when they could get a foothold on Sky Class Island, Lin Yi would definitely help them increase their strength again. Boss Lin Yi, can I use the Qi gathering pill too? Yu Bing was surprised and happy. He was in the hidden house Yu and was nurtured by the hidden house Yu. It was already amazing that he could reach Sky Class. Otherwise, Xiaochen wouldn't have fallen out with the hidden house Zhao because of the Qi gathering pill. So not only did Yu Bing not reject the Qi gathering pill, he was even looking forward to it. It's good enough that I have Sky Class early phase strength. Boss, I'll go get Zhao Qijio now. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. After settling the two of them down, Lin Yi went to refine the Qi gathering pill. He also told Rock Candy that he would give each of them a Qi amassing pill. Furthermore, Lin Yi left some energy stones for them to cultivate with. After doing all this, it was time for Lin Yi to return. He had to leave before the day of the Sky Class test. After going to Zhang Liju's tomb, it was time for the Sky Class test. Lin Yi didn't know what the purpose of this test was. Did the Xianxin elder do this to pick out the participants for the Sky Class meeting? But Lin Yi felt that this was unnecessary. But no matter what Lin Yi thought, the Five Elements sect was the one who started the Sky Class Island plan. As long as he didn't piss Lin Yi off, Lin Yi could only follow his rules. After saying goodbye to the Ice Palace, Lin Yi brought Xinyan's practitioner's arts back to Donghai City. He planned to settle Xinyan down first before heading to the tomb with Xiaoka. Lin Yi couldn't help but feel sour. He subconsciously wanted to bring Xiaoka there, but then he remembered that Xiaoka was already unconscious. He thought back to all the times he spent with Xiaoka. Although their love was short, it still lasted for a long time. Their love was short, but Xiaoka gave everything she had. This was a stubborn girl. She was willing to give up her life for the one she loved. The children in the orphanage and now Lin Yi's Xiaoka had always been like this. With that thought, Lin Yi clenched his fists. Logically speaking, he didn't need to go to Sky Class Island. As long as he made Zhang Liju's Sky Dao Golden Core, Lin Yi would be able to break through even in the common world. But he had to go. After returning to Donghai City, Xinyan and Han Jingjing were both surprised. Lin Yi was back so soon. You didn't spend more time with Xiao Xiao? Xinyan felt that this wasn't right, but she was still happy. Lin Yi must be worried about her training, that's why he came back so soon. This made Xinyan feel that she was still very important in Lin Yi's heart. At least she was no less important than Xiao Xiao. She didn't want to compare herself to Tang Yun or Meng Yao. There wasn't anything to compare them to but Xiao Xiao and Han Jingjing. Xinyan felt that she was about the same. I'll take care of your training first. After that, I plan on going to Master Zhang's tomb. Lin Yi said as he took out Xinyan's practitioner's arts from the jade space. He didn't have time to look at it in detail back in the Ice Palace, so Lin Yi put it away. Now that he looked at the name, he jumped up in shock. Nanming Technique. Nanming Technique? Xinyan and Han Jingjing paused when they saw the name. Why does it sound like Nanming's Star Absorption Arts? Lin Yi, on the other hand, frowned. This was similar to Naipeo's Wasp Absorption Arts. There was a note on the title page and it was most likely the work of that senior from the Ice Palace. Nanming Divine Art. This is an extremely secret art. You can use this art to absorb other people's true qi and spiritual qi. Please hide it in the treasure pavilion. Do not easily look at others. Those with malicious intentions should practice it carefully. However, from the notes on this mantra, this Nanming Divine Art is really suitable for Xinyan. Right now, her body is lacking a large amount of true qi. If she could absorb true qi from people or objects, it would not be a problem. Linny explained. It's just that this art is a bit evil, but Xinyan can absorb energy from energy stones. It doesn't target people. That's true. Xinyan nodded. Knives can kill, and they can also be used to cut vegetables. It depends on how you use it. As long as you don't feel pressure, let's see how you train then. Linny nodded. He was afraid that Xinyan would resist, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. The name and nature of the practitioner's arts didn't affect her that much. Chapter 3490. Okay. Wang Xinyan nodded obediently. She took the incantation, opened it, and started reading the instructions. Birds migrating to the southern Ming by sea. The southern Ming, the heavenly lake. Broad and profound, vast and limitless, able to contain all rivers. However, this was only the first incantation of the southern Ming divine art, the Qi transformation chapter. According to the description, she could transform the energy of heaven and earth into her own, but there was no explanation on how to use it. In other words, the incantation that Xinyan was practicing could only absorb energy but not use it. The incantation could only absorb the energy of heaven and earth and other people's energy, but it couldn't be used in battle. Without the corresponding mantra, Wang Xinyan couldn't activate her qi and use it. It could only be said that her strength had increased, but she was still a harmless master. But even so, Linny was satisfied. He didn't need Xinyan to do anything as long as she could be with him. Xinyan's biggest contribution was to help him practice and increase his speed. Although he couldn't use it now, it might come in handy in the future. So Linny said, since this incantation is suitable for you, you can start practicing now. Absorb my energy for your own use, and when I help you reach Earth class late phase peak, you can take a qi gathering pill. Will it hurt you if I absorb your energy? Xinyan asked worriedly. No, my energy can be replenished quickly if I give it to someone else. It's different from others. Linny said, so you don't have to worry about anything, just use the incantation and it'll be fine. Okay, I'll give it a try. Xinyan nodded and started practicing the incantation according to the Southern Ming divine art. The incantation wasn't hard to understand. Under Lin Yi's guidance, Xinyan was able to learn it easily. Although it was a bit rusty, it didn't affect her practice. Alright, you can start absorbing the true qi that I've transferred to you. Lin Yi started channeling the art of dragon mastery as well, putting his hand on Xinyan's pulse and transferring his pure qi into her body. An unprecedented suction force appeared. It began to devour the physical strength and true qi that Lin Yi had transferred to it. The absorption speed surprised Lin Yi a little. It wasn't like he hadn't transferred qi to someone before, but it was never this fast. Wang Xinyan was practically sucking her own qi out of her body. Fortunately, the heaven and earth spiritual qi in Lin Yi's space was endless, and Lin Yi was only acting as a conductor. Even so, Xinyan's rate of absorption was clearly faster than Lin Yi's. As a result, a lot of Lin Yi's qi was being sucked away by Xinyan. Of course, Lin Yi didn't care too much about it. If the jade space didn't have enough energy, he could use the energy in his body to make up for it. Even if it was sucked dry, Lin Yi wouldn't care. He had the jade space. He could recover at any time. Everyone knew that there was a limit to the amount of qi in a practitioner's body. After using it, the qi would be drained and it would take some time to recover. However, there were some special cultivators who were exceptions. For example, an alchemist, after his physical strength and true qi were used up, he would not be able to use it. They could also overdraft their own qi, which meant that they could overdraft the qi that was used to level up. However, this part of the qi was used up, and the practitioner's level would drop. On the other hand, Xinyan was the same. She was like Zhang Naipeo back then and could actively absorb the qi from others. She could make others overdraft their qi and drop to the lowest level. Zhang Naipeo relied on this move to be invincible in the martial arts world. It was just that Lin Yi was an anomaly, and his path to becoming a master was cut short. Now it was the same for Xinyan. It didn't take long before Lin Yi realized that his physical qi was being sucked dry, and Xinyan wasn't planning on letting him go. She was starting to force him to use up his qi. So Lin Yi started to drop from Sky Class Late Phase Peak, and after a while, Lin Yi felt that he was only at Sky Class Late Phase Peak. Xinyan, on the other hand, started to move from a normal person to a practitioner. Golden Class Early Phase, Golden Class Early Phase Peak, Golden Class Mid Phase. All the way to Golden Class Late Phase Peak, ready to break through to Mystic. Boom dash, Xinyan's clothes exploded the moment she broke through to Mystic. Her method of breaking through was slightly different from the way Lin Yi helped his followers level up. In essence, Xinyan leveled up on her own, and it was different from others who leveled up passively. It was just that Lin Yi provided enough qi for Xinyan to level up. However, Xinyan's clothes exploded into pieces, and she only paused momentarily. She had already taken off her clothes at Han Jingjing's house, so she didn't mind it too much and continued to use the mantra. She was more excited than shy. She became a mystic in such a short amount of time. It was really fast. After mystic was Earth class. Earth class late phase peak. Lin Yi was surprised to find that Xinyan didn't seem to have any intention of stopping, and she was still absorbing the qi that he was transferring to her. What was going on? In the past, when his other followers reached Earth class late phase peak, they naturally stopped, and his qi couldn't be transferred over, but Xinyan didn't have a problem. After a moment of confusion, Lin Yi thought about it carefully and it made sense. Wang Xinyan's practitioner's arts was to absorb other people's pure energy for her own use, and so her practitioner's arts could absorb any kind of pure energy. Lin Yi's restrictions only applied to other arts, but Wang Xinyan's arts didn't apply at all. Boom dash, soon Xinyan broke through again and officially stepped into sky class. What surprised Lin Yi was that Xinyan's mantra was obviously better than Naipeo's wasp absorption arts. Naipeo could absorb qi to death, but Xinyan didn't seem to have this problem. Chapter 3491. The Nanming divine art could only be cultivated by cultivators with the corresponding physique. Others couldn't cultivate it. On the other hand, the wasp-absorbing divine art could be cultivated by everyone, but its side effects were very obvious. Furthermore, its power wasn't as great as the Nanming divine art. While Lin Yi was surprised, he didn't stop the chant. He continued to let Wang Xinyan absorb the qi in her body. Of course, this was only for Lin Yi. If it were anyone else, they would have lost a level and wouldn't be able to recover even if they wanted to. But Lin Yi wasn't the same. He could recover very quickly. Wang Xinyan's strength continued to soar. This kind of chant made Lin Yi very envious. If Lin Yi had this ability, he wouldn't have to work so hard. Lin Yi had gone through a lot of hardships from Golden Class, but the people around him leveled up smoothly, including their opponents. But while Lin Yi sighed, he wasn't too envious. Although Lin Yi's leveling speed wasn't as fast as theirs, but in the whole common world, who dared to say that Lin Yi wasn't the first? Who dared to say that they had strength that surpassed Lin Yi? The same sky class full perfection but not the same. Before Lin Yi was sky class full perfection, he could instantly kill a full perfection master. But now, even if he was a full perfection master, who dared to say that they could instantly kill someone of the same level? This was the difference. Leveling up fast had its advantages and disadvantages, but Lin Yi had walked step by step. That was why he had the strength to look down on the whole common world. Sky class late phase peak full perfection. Lin Yi didn't expect Wang Xinyan to rush all the way to this point. Was this the special characteristic of a sponge body? At the end, Lin Yi had no qi left in his body at all. It was all sucked away by Wang Xinyan, just like Zhang Naipeo. The only difference was that Lin Yi's meridians weren't injured, and he could recover quickly. However, just because Lin Yi's qi was gone didn't mean that Wang Xinyan would stop. Wang Xinyan continued to absorb spiritual energy from the space in the jade until she reached the level of a perfected master. Although Lin Yi was also a sky class full circle master, Lin Yi's pure qi wasn't enough for Xinyan to level up to full circle. He needed to use the pure qi in the jade space. This thing was actually similar to a power bank. Charging and discharging were different. There was a loss of electricity, so it couldn't be said that Lin Yi just gave all his qi to Xinyan, and she'd be able to reach sky class perfection straight away. Unless those experts from the tantric sect in the foreign lands had such strength. As for what tantra was, Lin Yi didn't know. He only heard about it from the old ancestor of House Yu. Lin Yi did not know the specifics, but he guessed that it might be an existence similar to an ancient sect, with some evil mental cultivation method. Xinyan successfully reached sky class late phase peak, and even she felt that it was unbelievable. Once upon a time this was a power that she had to look up to, but in the blink of an eye she became one? Xinyan, get used to it first. I'm exhausted from being sucked by you and I need to recover my qi. Lin Yi had dropped to 0 level, and naturally he needed to recover quickly. Although normal people wouldn't dare to cause trouble for Lin Yi now, Lin Yi was afraid that accidents might happen. He needed to maintain his peak condition at all times. And? Xinyan blushed. She was closer to Lin Yi now. So when Lin Yi said that he was exhausted, Xinyan couldn't help but think of other things. She wasn't an innocent girl who didn't know anything. But it seemed like Lin Yi didn't notice anything. Xinyan quickly hid her emotions and went with Han Jingjing to get used to the strength of sky class late phase peak. The next morning Lin Yi finally recovered to his peak, and Lin Yi told Xinyan and Han Jingjing about it. They were preparing to go to the tomb. Lin Yi brought Skybolt Pig to Zhang Liju's tomb. He always brought Xiaoke along, but this time Lin Yi didn't. Only Lin Yi went, and it made Lin Yi's heart feel heavy. This was the nth time Lin Yi had come to the tomb. Other than feeling a little heavy, he was very familiar with the place. Lin Yi went straight to the furthest stone door in the depths of the tomb. Beside the stone door, Lin Yi found the annotation from last time. Simplified Sky Class Golden Pill Recipe, Sky Class Late Phase Peak, Mystic First Level Refiner can open this door, Zhang Liju. He had already reached Sky Class Late Phase Peak, but what about Mystic First Level Refiner? Lin Yi didn't know if the pause meant, or, and, but it was a bit ambiguous to write it here. But Lin Yi thought about it. He was already a practitioner of the 5 elements and 7 elements, and the 5 elements were all real, forming a cycle in his body. He had already fulfilled the requirements of a refiner. It was just that the refiner's arts were a bit complicated, and Lin Yi didn't have time to experiment and practice it. With Han Jingjing's automatic refiner cauldron, Lin Yi didn't need to study the refiner's arts at all. But now that he had Han Jingjing's cauldron, he should be considered a top refiner, right? Even if his chi wasn't enough to make a mystic first-level elixir, his level should be enough. So with that thought, Lin Yi reached out to push the door. The door didn't budge at all. Lin Yi paused and thought of the stone door in the Shenyuan cave. The stone door was a dead object, and although Lin Yi's strength was there, he couldn't tell the stone door through words, could he? So Lin Yi had to show his strength and let the stone door test him. Perhaps this tomb's door was the same. Lin Yi hurriedly channeled the art of dragon mastery, revealing his full power as a sky-class late-phase peak. But the door still didn't respond. Did he have to show his strength as a refiner? Lin Yi had no choice but to activate his refiner fire, but Lin Yi didn't do much, and the stone door started to make a ka-ka-ka sound, and the door slowly opened. The room was a secret room, and after opening there was a stone table in the middle of the room, and on the stone table was a small antique box. Other than that, there was nothing else. It seemed like the main function of this secret room was to store this elixir recipe. Chapter 3492. It seemed like there was no danger here, and Zhang Liju didn't set any traps. Heaven's Path Golden Pill, these 4 words were inscribed on the box. Lin Yi took a deep breath, picked up the box and carefully opened it. Inside the box was a small scroll. It did not disappoint Lin Yi, but it did not surprise Lin Yi either. Lin Yi was fantasizing about how great it would be if there was a completed Heavenly Path Golden Pill in the box. But there was nothing inside. It seemed like there was only a pill recipe. Lin Yi carefully opened the box, took out the pill recipe and slowly unfolded it. Simplified Heaven's Path Golden Core. Inside the scroll there were a few big words. Lin Yi continued to read and saw that it continued to say, "The Heavenly Tao is heartless, and the Heavenly Tao is heartless, treating all living things as straw dogs. No matter how the world changed, the Tao would not change. This Tao was the Heavenly Tao. But heaven rewards the diligent." After reading through some complicated introductions, Lin Yi had a vague understanding of the Heavenly Tao. The Heavenly Tao was a kind of struggle against the heavens. Under the Heavenly Tao, it was a struggle against oneself and others. However, above the Heavenly Tao, it was more like immortal cultivation. It had already transcended the scope of body refining. Once he stepped onto the Heavenly Tao, it was the beginning of the path of cultivation. His strength and lifespan would be incomparable to his current state. Of course, this was just a description of the passage. Lin Yi wasn't too sure what it actually looked like. Below that was Zhang Liju's notes, and the gist of it was that Zhang Liju copied the recipe from the records of strange tales, but it was a mystic level 1 recipe and he couldn't make it at all. However, after a long period of research, he simplified the pill formula into a simplified version of the Heaven's Path Golden Pill. The effects of this Heaven's Path Golden Pill were no longer as powerful as the original Heaven's Path Golden Pill. It was said that it was a genuine Heaven's Path Golden Core. On the other hand, the simplified version of the Heaven's Path Golden Pill was only effective for a single period of time. However, the simplified version of the Heaven's Path Golden Pill could only be refined by a 4th-tier apothecary. A 4th-grade medicinal pill? Lin Yi was slightly taken aback. He could really give it a try. With Han Jingjing's alchemy artifact in hand, as well as the inexhaustible physical strength and true chi, a 4th-grade medicinal pill should be able to be refined successfully. At this point, Lin Yi began to look at the simplified Heaven's Path Golden Pill formula. Morning dragon grass, heaven herb root, bitter fruit, heart-devouring exquisite grass, chai flower leaf. There weren't many materials, only 5 in total. However, they were all herbs that Lin Yi had never heard of. Even with Lin Yi's vast knowledge of herbs, he had never heard of these things. This made Lin Yi slightly nervous. Could it be those rare herbs that were not easy to get? Next up was the method to refine the pill. However, Lin Yi hadn't even prepared the herbs yet, so there was no point in looking at the refining method. At this point, Lin Yi put the formula into the jade space and left Zhang Liju's tomb. He returned to Donghai City and went straight to Boss Bai's place. Lin Yi didn't know about the herbs on the formula, but as a former top-level apothecary, Boss Bai should be familiar with it. He should have some understanding of it, so he decided to ask for some guidance. Boss Bai was a bit surprised at Lin Yi's sudden visit, but after Lin Yi told him why he was here, he nodded. "You got the formula? Let me see the herbs on it." Okay, Lin Yi quickly took out the formula, and Boss Bai took it and studied it carefully. After a while, Lin Yi saw that Boss Bai wasn't talking, so he asked, "How is it, Master Bai? Can you get these ingredients?" "Some, but most don't. Dragon Dawn grass and Chai Ming flower leaf are very rare, but they can be obtained. I've heard of the sky herb root, but I've never heard of the heart-devouring exquisite grass and bitter fruit. This formula of yours isn't easy to get." Boss Bai said directly, "I advise you not to put too much hope in it. After all, some of the ingredients from back then might be extinct now, or should I say this ingredient was already extinct back then, and who knows where Master Zhang Liju got his hands on it." "I see." Lin Yi was a bit disappointed. "That means I can't refine it?" "It's hard to say, but I don't recommend you spend your energy on this." Boss Bai said, "You can use it as a backup, but you should focus on the Sky Class test, right?" "I understand." Lin Yi nodded and put away the formula. Although he was still a bit unwilling, he knew that Boss Bai hadn't heard of it before, and asking others was useless. Now only old Lin was left. If even old Lin didn't know, then Lin Yi would really have to give up. With that thought, Lin Yi didn't linger any longer. He said goodbye to Boss Bai and returned to his home in Donghai. Wang Xinyan was probably at school and Han Jingjing wasn't at home either. Lin Yi, on the other hand, called old Lin first. He needed to figure out if he could get the ingredients for the Sky Path Golden Pill. What disappointed Lin Yi, however, was that old Lin's knowledge of these uncommon herbs was more or less the same as Boss Bai's. He'd never even heard of the heart devourer, exquisite grass and bitter fruit. These two things were probably extinct, or in other words, with Lin Yi's current knowledge, he didn't know where to find them. Helpless, Lin Yi could only give up, because Lin Yi's time was limited, and the Sky Class test was about to begin. On this day, the Five Elements sect made an announcement to all the aristocratic families, sects and ancient sects. The Sky Class test had officially begun. All the participants who were qualified to participate in the test, please go to the Five Elements sect within 5 days after receiving the notice. No delay. Lin Yi drove Wang Xinyan and Han Jingjing to the Five Elements sect in the jeep, and Han Jingjing completely handed over the cauldron business in the mortal world to Fatty Lai and Kang Xiaobo. Anyway, the production technology for the first and second level cauldrons was already mature, and Han Jingjing didn't plan to introduce higher level cauldrons. Han Jingjing never planned to take over the third level elixir market. At the same time, the participants from the other ancient sects who were qualified to participate in the test, as well as the independent cultivators who had the map of the Sky Class Island, all moved to the Five Elements sect. In the Five Elements sect, Elder Xianxian was secretly discussing with Kang Mingming about the test. Chapter 3493. The main purpose of this trial is to let the inheritors of the 5 elements and 7 attributes head to the cave of the 5 Evils dragon in the 5 Evils wilderness to receive the final inheritance blessing, strengthen their attributes, and prepare for the opening of the Heaven Island. Patriarch Xianxian said, as for the other trial takers, in order to protect their safety, lure out the 5 Evils dragon to deal with it, and create time for the inheritors. This can be considered a test for the trial takers. If they survive, they will be qualified to participate in the Heaven Rank meeting and the Heaven Island plan. If they are injured, dead, or leave early, they will naturally not be qualified. 5 Evils dragon? What's that? Kang Mingming was slightly taken aback. This 5 Evils dragon is the king of the spirit beasts in the 5 Evils wilderness. It is extremely powerful and has the strength of the peak late stage of Heaven Rank. It is considered a top-notch spirit beast, and it is not impossible for it to break through the heavenly Tao. Patriarch Xianxian explained, in the cave of the 5 Evils dragon, there is the inheritance light of the power of the 5 elements. It can strengthen the attributes of the inheritors of the 5 elements, so that the opening of the Heaven Island will be more perfect. Otherwise, the physiques of the inheritors would be uneven due to some differences. If one of the physiques was weak, it might fail at the last step and affect the other inheritors, causing the opening of the Heavenly Island's entrance to fail. Therefore, in order to let this matter proceed smoothly, we must send the trial takers to restrain the five evils dragon and let the inheritors receive the inheritance blessing. All then, we won't be able to determine who's going to do more or less. If one of the trial takers hides at the back and doesn't do anything, then they'll be able to get away with it. Kang Xiaoming didn't understand. Indeed, but in order to prevent this from happening and protect the safety of the inheritors, I originally wanted little one to be the supervisor of the trial. However, there was no news of him later, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. I wanted little two to go with you and let him secretly act as a recorder. Record the entire process and I will use it to evaluate the score. Patriarch Xianxin said, however, now that there have been a series of accidents, I have changed my mind. I plan to personally supervise the battle. Father-in-law, I have a good idea. Kang Xiaoming said, actually, the people who are participating in the Sky Class Assembly are all different. What did it matter if there was one more or one less? Let's all go together when the Heavenly Island opens. We won't lose anything anyway. That being said, it's still very difficult to open the Heaven Stage Island. It's not fixed. It might be long or short. What if so many people don't have enough time to pass? Patriarch Xianxin shook his head and said, the current situation is still unknown. Moreover, after reaching the Heavenly Stage Island, will the resources there be limited? If limited, the more people there are, the more they will snatch and the less everyone will get. This is what I've been worried about. If that's the case. Kang Mingming was a little embarrassed after hearing it. However, at that time we can study the rules at the Heaven Rank meeting. Whoever passes it first will pass it later. After going to the Heavenly Island, how would the resources be distributed? Rumor has it that the Heavenly Island emissary will come into contact with me soon, but this is only a rumor. It's hard to say whether there is such an emissary. If there is, I can figure out the situation on the Heavenly Island. Everyone can go, but the resources are really limited. Then we can only restrict some people. Father-in-law, actually this is what I'm thinking. This time, the inheritors are going to receive the last blessing of the inheritance, right? These inheritors are Lin Yi's girlfriends. With Lin Yi's infatuated personality, he definitely won't let his women suffer losses. At that time, we can let everyone hide and let Lin Yi face the Dragon of Five Evils alone. If Lin Yi can restrain the Dragon of Five Evils by himself, it'll be even better. If Lin Yi can't restrain the Dragon of Five Evils and is killed by the Dragon of Five Evils, it'll be even better. We'll have gotten rid of a big threat. When the time comes, we'll wait for Lin Yi to die and restrain the Dragon of Five Evils. Well, you're right. This is a good idea. We can make use of it. Why didn't I think of it before? Ancestor Xianxin was immediately delighted. Yes, using the relationship between Lin Yi and the inheritors to send Lin Yi to his death. Only a small person like Kang Mingming could come up with such a bad idea. He patted Kang Mingming's shoulder and said, yes, it's naturally the best if we can get rid of Lin Yi. It's a small matter for others, but during the Heavenly Island meeting, won't they have to act according to our five element sex mood? Who dares to go against me? Without Lin Yi, I'm the number one person under the way of heaven. What I'm most afraid of is that Lin Yi will snatch resources from us. Not only for himself but also for his friends and girlfriends. Then what will we have left? As long as we kill Lin Yi, this won't be a problem. So, father-in-law, you agree with my proposal? Kang Mingming had a flash of inspiration just now. When he heard Ancestor Xianxin say that everyone would go to restrain the Five Evils Dragon and protect the inheritors, a thought flashed through Kang Mingming's mind. Why should he help Lin Yi protect his girlfriend? Therefore he came up with such an ultimate bad idea. Well, when the time comes, you can secretly make a connection. You have the title of my son-in-law, so this kind of thing should be in the bag. You can just hint that it's my idea. Ancestor Xianxin said, however, you have to be careful. Once Lin Yi dies, you must immediately deal with the Dragon of Five Evils. You must not let it return to the cave. Otherwise, those inheritors will be in danger and all my efforts will be wasted. Father-in-law, don't worry. Kang Mingming quickly said, I will seize this opportunity. That's good. Ancestor Xianxin nodded. Remember, during the trial you have to keep a low profile and try to fan the flames. If Lin Yi can successfully escape and is not killed by the Five Evils Dragon, then you must let the people of the Everyday and Everyday sect clash with Lin Yi. Don't do it yourself. You are an alchemist. Even if you have taken the Qi-gathering pill and advanced to the great perfection of Heaven Stage, your combat power is still not enough. Okay, father-in-law, don't worry. I'm not a reckless person. This kind of dirty trick of sowing discord is what I'm best at. Kang Mingming quickly promised. Chapter 3494. Fortunately, Kong Ming did not die. Otherwise, the 11th would have been widowed. During this time, I have been working overtime to refine chi gathering pills. Not only have I been promoted to the Great Perfection, but my beloved wife, the 11th, has also been promoted to the Great Perfection. I want her to participate in the Heaven Stage trial, and then we will go to the Heaven Stage Island together. I don't want to be separated from her. Kong Ming said. Oh. Patriarch Xianxin could not help but be stunned after hearing this. He did not know about this beforehand. Now that he heard it from Kong Ming, he was very moved. Although Kong Ming was a sinister person, he was still very good to the 11th. Previously, he had vaguely heard some rumors about Little Peach. He felt that Kong Ming was really a heartless person. However, Xianxin was also such a person, so he did not say much. However, he still felt some regret in his heart. After all, the 11th was his daughter. Now that he heard that Kong Ming was really good to the 11th, he could not help but be very happy. He said, "Well, I am very pleased that you have such thoughts. Then bring her along. It just so happens that she also hates Lin Yi and that Han Jingjing. It's best to let Lin Yi and Han Jingjing die together so that you can all vent your hatred." That's right. This time, not only Han Jingjing but also that bitch Wang Xinyan, I want her dead. Motherfucker, how dare she make my big brother a cuckold. I want her dead. Kong Ming said hatefully, "This trial will be the death of Lin Yi's entire family. If it weren't for the fact that those inheritors are still useful, I would let the 5 evils dragon eat them all." Well, it doesn't matter. When we get to the Heaven Stage Island, we will find a way to kill them. The role of the inheritors is limited to the opening of the Heaven Stage Island. At that time they will be useless. Patriarch Xianxin nodded. That's true. Father-in-law is still wise. Kong Ming nodded. Similar to the previous trials, after Lin Yi drove through several cities, he saw a barren land in front of him. At most, he could see a few villages and large tracts of farmland. As he went further, he couldn't even see the villages anymore. It was just an endless wasteland. Moreover, the road was getting more and more difficult to walk on. Fortunately, Lin Yi had experience and was driving an off-road vehicle. Otherwise he would really go crazy. However, the road was a little bumpy. But now, whether it was Lin Yi, Xinyan or Han Jingjing, they were all sky-class masters. They didn't care about that at all. Both of them were participating in the trials for the first time, so they were extremely excited. Of course, it was the same for Lin Yi since he could see Mengyao, Yushu, Yuning, Xiaoxiao, Little Nine and Guan Xian. Lin Yi had wanted to go with Guan Xian, but the inheritors' process was different from the experience. Boss Bai had to escort them personally, so Lin Yi could only give up. Will this trial be dangerous? Wang Xinyan's excitement was tinged with worry. With Lin Yi bro here, there's no need to be afraid. Han Jingjing was very confident. If it's dangerous, there will be in every trial. It depends on the content of the trial. We don't know what the trial is about, we'll only know when we go. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was very calm. After all, he would participate no matter if it was dangerous or not. After walking for another day, Lin Yi's car finally arrived at the announced location of the trial, 5 Elements Mountain Range. This place wasn't far from the Sky Elixir sect, but it was in 2 different directions. No wonder there was something fishy going on between the Sky Elixir sect and the 5 Elements sect. The 2 were so close. It seemed like this was the side closest to the 5 Fiends Mountain Range. He just didn't know how to enter. Lin Yi guessed that the 5 Elements Mountain Range was a part of the 5 Fiends Mountain Range, but the 2 weren't directly connected. There was a barrier in the middle, so it wasn't possible to enter. At the foot of the desolate 5 Elements Mountain Range, there was a luxurious inn. The style was similar to the inn in the Sky Elixir Sect's trial. It was specially prepared for the participants. This similar style made Lin Yi feel that the Sky Elixir sect and the 5 Elements sect were related. Otherwise they wouldn't have built it so similar. In the parking lot in front of the inn, there were already a few cars parked there. They were obviously the other participants. As for Lin Yi parked the car in the parking lot and got out with Zhao Qikuan. There were a few cars parked there as well, but he didn't know if they belonged to the other participants or the 5 Elements sect. The 3 of you, this isn't a normal inn. There's an important meeting going on here and we don't accept outsiders. If you're not here for the meeting, then please leave. Lin Yi, Xinyan and Han Jingjing had just entered the lobby when a man in a bagua robe stopped them. His tone was polite, but his words were firm. We're here for the trial. Lin Yi said faintly. Is this the meeting you were talking about? Oh, so you're participants? Then, please show us the invitation letter issued by the 5 Elements sect. Or, if you are a rogue cultivator, please show us the map fragment of the Heavenly Stage Island. The man in the bagua robe nodded to the three of them and said, "Of the three of us, these two are freelancers and I'm from a branch of the Five Elements sect, Boss Bai's sect." Lin Yi said, "What?" The man froze when he heard Lin Yi say that he was from a branch of the Five Elements sect. He remembered what he was told earlier. He had to be careful. "All right, tell us your names and show us your strength. I'll help you register." "No problem." Lin Yi, Han Jingjing, and Xin Yan all channeled their arts, displaying their full power as Sky-class late-phase peak. The man in the robe was shocked beyond words. He was only a Sky-class early-phase disciple, and these three were all Sky-class full mastery. This was too strong. According to the rules of the trial this time, as long as one was above the heaven stage, they could participate. There was no upper limit, so after the man in the bagua robe saw their strength, he quickly nodded and said, "Okay, then please show me your entrance scroll and your sex invitation letter. I will help you with the check-in procedures." Lin Yi nodded and handed over the 3 map fragments and the recommendation letter that Boss Bai wrote for him. The man checked them carefully and registered them one by one before returning them to Lin Yi. "All right, that's enough. You guys keep them well. When the test starts, you'll have to hand them in. Don't lose them, or you won't be able to participate in the test." Lin Yi nodded. "All right, that's enough." Chapter 3495. "So, are you staying in one room or 3? The man in the bagua robe asked. "A suite, please." Lin Yi, Wang Xinyan, and Han Jingjing were very close, and there was no need for them to be separated. Although the two of them had the strength of peak late-phase heaven class, they had no fighting power. For safety's sake, Lin Yi had to sleep with them. The man nodded and recorded their request, then handed a room card to Lin Yi, 3rd floor, room 301. After receiving the room card, Lin Yi, Wang Xinyan, and Han Jingjing prepared to go upstairs. The inn here had the most primitive stairs, there was no elevator, and just as Lin Yi and the other two were going upstairs, a participant above was going down. However, the stairs were narrow and only one person could pass. Lin Yi took 2 steps up and the person also took 2 steps down. This was a spiral staircase and there was no slow platform in the middle, so only one of them could go back. Lin Yi had just arrived and naturally didn't want to cause trouble. According to the rules of the secular world, people usually entered first and then left. So when Lin Yi, Wang Xinyan, and Han Jingjing were about to go down, the person above spoke. "The one below, get out of the way. Damn it, I don't know where this wandering cultivator came from, and he even brought 2 girls with him. Does he think he's here to play? He really hasn't seen the world." This person was a disciple of a foreign sect, and his name was Lu Taishao. He had the strength of peak late-phase heaven class, which was also a very powerful existence in the trial, so he had always been arrogant. He had just bullied a peak late-phase heaven class wandering cultivator in the morning, so he was bursting with confidence. Moreover, he was participating in the trial. In theory, they could bring their spirit beasts and servants here. As long as they didn't go to the trial, it would be fine. It was normal for them to take care of the trial takers in their rooms. However, most of the trial takers came here to train, not to enjoy themselves. And so, naturally, Lu Taishao thought that Xinyan and Han Jingjing were Lin Yi's family. On the other hand, some rogue cultivators who had a bit of strength didn't know what to do in front of ordinary people in the secular world. Of course, in front of the ancient sects they were nothing. Lin Yi found this somewhat funny. In the ancient era, there was actually someone who didn't know him and was acting cool in front of him. He didn't know about the pretentious ones. Were they all dead or crippled? However, just as Lin Yi was about to speak, a nervous voice rang out behind him. "Brothers, when you're outside, suffering a loss is gaining an advantage. You should avoid it if you can." Lin Yi was slightly stunned and turned around. He saw a thin man in his 20s standing behind him. Naturally, a heaven-rank expert couldn't tell his age, so who knew how old this person was? "Thank you for the reminder." Lin Yi thought about it and decided to forget it. Now, Lin Yi's mentality was different from before. Lin Yi really couldn't be bothered with him. Thus, Lin Yi took 2 steps back and let the cultivator who was about to go down first. Ah! Lu Taishao was very happy to see Lin Yi retreating, coming down the stairs and leaving arrogantly. He didn't forget to show off his Sky-class full mastery strength before leaving. "You're a good person, man. Be a man, don't overestimate yourself or you won't even know how you died." Lin Yi shook his head helplessly and looked at the person who reminded him. However, Lin Yi didn't know this person. He probably didn't know him either. Otherwise he wouldn't have reminded him. After all, Lin Yi was infamous in the ancient times. Who would dare to cause trouble for Lin Yi now? "Brother, take a step back. Moreover, you have a family here. It's even harder to become enemies with such a narrow-minded person." The man reminded Xiaoqin. "You're right. How should I address you?" Linny asked. I'm Xiao Ran, a descendant of a declining family. I used to be from the ancient Xiao family. I wonder if you've heard of it? Speaking up to here, Xiao Ran couldn't help but laugh bitterly at himself. Because my family has been demoted from an ancient family to an ordinary family, I came here with the identity of a rogue cultivator. I'm now an expert at the peak of the late stage of heaven rank. How should I address you, brother? You seem to be a rogue cultivator, right? Why do you say that? Can't I come from a sect? Linny was slightly stunned and asked curiously. However, Linny really hadn't heard of the ancient Xiao family. It was probably a very declining family, just like Falbert's sect. They weren't qualified to participate in this trial anymore. Those sect disciples are all arrogant. How could they be willing to give in? At this point, Xiao Ran bitterly smiled and said, only a rogue cultivator would be as modest as you. Moreover, this is a trial, so most people wouldn't bring their families. However, you brought 2 women, so you're definitely a rogue cultivator. The disciples of sects and clans wouldn't do that, as it would distract them. Therefore, I suggest that you send the 2 of them back. Hehe, thank you for the reminder, Brother Xiao. However, they're also here to participate in the trial. Linny smiled. They're both Sky Class perfected. My name is Linny, and I'm indeed a rogue cultivator. Alright, I should go upstairs now. Brother Xiao, I'll leave you to your work. Sky Class perfected? Xiao Ran looked at Linny in disbelief. Ah, you're the legendary Linny? Linny nodded, speechless at Xiao Ran's reaction. He might be famous now, but there was no need to act like that, was there? Ah, it's me, Brother Lin. Xiao Ran shook his head with a bitter smile. Then I won't disturb you anymore. Alright, let's talk more in the future. Linny nodded and led Xinyan and Han Jingjing upstairs. After Xiao Ran left, Xinyan said, this guy's not bad, he's a warm-hearted person. Yeah, he probably suffered under that person's hands, but he's an honest person. We can talk more in the future. But for now, let's settle down first. Linny said. We don't know who's with the Xianxian ancestor, so it's best if we don't form cliques. We'll listen to you anyway, we won't form cliques. Xinyan nodded. Chapter 3496. Lin Yi and the other 2 settled down and rested for a bit before heading to the restaurant for dinner. Lin Yi brought Xinyan and Han Jingjing to the restaurant on the first floor of the inn. When he went downstairs, he heard 2 people talking in front of him, and one of them was the Lu Taishao he'd met earlier. Brother Lu, you may be strong, but there are a few people in this trial that you cannot afford to mess with. The one who spoke was a freelancer from a foreign land, but while he was a freelancer he naturally got along well with Lu Taishao. Oh, little 2, you're quite well informed. Tell me who can't be messed with. Lu Taishao said casually. He was a Sky Class full mastery, and in his eyes, there was no one he couldn't mess with. Kong Ming is someone we can't mess with. He's the son-in-law of the founder of this trial, Elder Xianxian. While he's just a refiner, he's not someone we can mess with. Little 2 said. Oh, of course. Lu Taishao felt good about himself, but he wasn't an idiot. He knew the power of the 5 Elements sect, and normal people couldn't afford to mess with them. Who else? There's also a fierce person from the Everyday and Everyday sect. I heard that in the past trials, the participants who fought with him didn't gain anything out of it. This person is called Zhang Naipeo, and his practitioner's arts are quite strange as well. Little 2 said. Zhang Naipeo, I've heard of him, he really is a fierce person. Lu Taishao withered upon hearing that it was someone from the Everyday and Everyday sect. He knew how strong this sect was, second only to the 5 Elements sect. There's one more person we can't mess with. He's a freelancer, but I've heard that he's always crushed Zhang Naipeo in the past trials. Little 2 said. It can't be, can a freelancer be that strong? Lu Taishao had heard of Lin Yi as well. But he thought to himself, how strong could a freelancer be? He was afraid that it was all just a bluff, so he said disdainfully, it doesn't look like there's anything great about it. I say, Brother Lu, you have to be careful. The walls have ears. Don't let it get to Lin Yi's ears. Be careful not to get into trouble. Tu Xiaoshou hurriedly said, let's not talk about whether the rumors about the previous trials are true or not. Even if it's not true, that Lin Yi is at least someone who can fight Zhang Naipeo. Even if he lost, Naipeo didn't do anything to him. That's enough to prove that he's not simple. Is it true? Perhaps Naipeo was taking pity on him. He might not even die. Lu Taishou snorted, a little disdainful of Tu Xiaoshou's cowardice. That Lin Yi, no matter how strong he is, he's only at the peak of Heaven Realm. He's just a rogue cultivator without a sect or sect. You and I are both Heaven Realm full circle experts 2 versus 1. You're still not confident? That's true, but I heard that Lin Yi's practitioner's arts are very strange and so are his techniques. He's known as the #1 under heaven's laws, and I heard that he can kill a heaven realm full circle in one hit. I think it's best to be careful. Tu Xiaoxiu said in a low voice. Alright, it doesn't matter how strong he is, we don't have much to do with him. We'll let that legendary Zhang Naipeo fight him. Tai Sa said with a wave of his hand. Alright. Let's not talk about this anymore. Tu Xiaoxiu shook his head. It seemed that Lu Taisho didn't really think much of Lin Yi. It was normal for a disciple from a sect like this to look down on a freelancer. Tu Xiaoxiu was also a heaven realm full circle like Lu Taisho, but when the two were together, Lu Taisho was the leader. Lin Yi heard their conversation from not too far away. But he wasn't interested in looking for trouble with them, because Lin Yi didn't care at all. If these people thought he was strong, then so be it. Lin Yi didn't even bother looking for trouble with them when they went downstairs. Not now, after all? Lin Yi shook his head. After the two entered the dining hall, Lin Yi brought Xinyan and Han Jingjing with him. Lin Yi saw the practitioner Xiao Ran from afar, eating at a table by himself. He raised his head and gave Lin Yi a friendly smile when he saw Lin Yi. Lin Yi nodded back. Since the guy was being polite, there was no need for Lin Yi to treat him coldly. As for building a good relationship with him, Lin Yi didn't think about it. This test was different from the past, and Lin Yi didn't want to stand out too much. He didn't want to form a clique. Many of the inheritors in the test had connections with Lin Yi, so if Lin Yi were to form cliques with other participants, then Xianxian would be wary of him and cause unnecessary trouble. Lin Yi would lose more than he gained. His purpose for coming here was very simple. He didn't want to become enemies with anyone. He just wanted to pass the test and participate in the Heaven Rank meeting and go to the Heaven Rank Island. As long as he could achieve this goal, Lin Yi could just muddle along. There was no need for him to cause trouble. The dining hall was a self-service restaurant. There were no waiters and one had to go to the window to order. When Lin Yi arrived, Lu Taisho and Tu Xiaoxiu were ordering their food. Seeing Lin Yi walk over, Lu Taisho snorted disdainfully, "Line up slowly and wait. You don't know the rules." Lin Yi looked at him indifferently and didn't say anything. "Fuck, what are you looking at? Do you think you're so awesome? You're just a rogue cultivator, do you dare to say your name?" Lu Taisho glared at Lin Yi. He came here to find a sense of existence and to step on people for fun. "I'm Lin Yi said. "Lin Yi, alright, I'll remember it. We'll meet in the test." Lu Taisho was talking non-stop when Tu Xiaoxiu's face changed. He kept pulling on Lu Taisho, telling him to stop. "What, why are you pulling me?" "Brother Lu, Lin Yi, he's Lin Yi." Tu Xiaoxiu reminded bitterly. "Lin Yi? What's wrong with Lin Yi?" Lu Taisho paused and his face changed all of a sudden as he looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Wow, you're the Lin Yi who fought against Zhang Naipeo?" "Fight? More or less." Lin Yi nodded. "It's more like he's the one who gets hurt every time." "Fuck. Well, young Master Lin, why don't you order your food first?" I'll wait a bit. Lu Taisho was trying to act cool, but he didn't because he didn't care. Once he saw Lin Yi, his legs went soft.